Welcome in to a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Packed studio here this morning on this Wednesday edition. Going to be off on Good Friday, so tomorrow will be our last day of programming here on the FM Digital Media Network. Mikey Matuk will roll today, 11 to 1 o'clock. He will be off on Friday. No show from Uncle Earl's on Friday. So enjoy your Good Friday. Little
Family
3-day
Friday.
Weekend here.
Watch out.
For the crew, giving the boys off. As
we'll be back Tuesday.
We'll be back easy. See you
Good
Sunday.
Monday.
See you
It is
Sunday
Easter
night.
Monday.
Yeah, right. I don't know if y'all want to roll on Sunday night. It's up to you, but we'll be back on Monday morning. Noah
was going to be out of town.
Nobody's rolling on Easter night. Come on.
Easter Sunday.
I'm going to be rolling, but
Rolling with the Lord.
Rolling with the Lord.
Rolling in a
back,
lift.
Rolling back that rock.
yeah.
we are on a mission here that starts today. We are getting Stewie a new car from Walmart. Walmart has totally totaled Stewie's car.
Totally totaled.
Totally totaled.
I love it.
Totally tubular.
From they burned up his engine.
Screw Walmart.
Got the call yesterday. Yeah, screw you, Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart.
Yeah.
Buy him a new car, man.
Jerry Jones. Why don't
Gonna
you
get
throw
away
some of
with
that $20 million towards us?
So you can get away with screwing my man over with no car here on the holidays. Goes to you for an oil change. Next thing you know, his engine's totally burned up. Walmart's not
Ridiculous.
picking up the phone. No helpline. No nothing. Stewie's in a bad spot.
Everyone tweet at Walmart on our behalf that
Yeah,
Stewie needs a
absolutely.
new car
Please.
and that they've screwed Stewie. We're going to
And
make
at
this
me.
happen.
Thank you.
Yes.
Let's get Stewie a new car from Walmart. I mean, that should be pretty easy.
It should be extremely easy. Sam Walton. Is he dead?
I think
He's about to be.
pretty sure he's
He might be dead.
I'm kind of proud of Walmart, though. This is the way that I would do it. I would just ignore it until
This
it
is
goes
the way
away.
you do it.
Yeah, this is just a totally ignore the situation. And if they're counting on Stewie to give up, and we are here to say we're not going to give up.
We're
We're
not
doubling
gonna
down
give
our
up.
efforts, Stewie.
Not
We'll get
giving
you a
up.
car.
I mean, the least they need to
1998
do is
Corolla.
give you a rental car. I mean, my
all right. I drove a
God.
98 Honda in high school. So it's cool. It's cool. I'll take that.
He got an upgrade in college. He was like, he went to Alabama to play football.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Walmart, you know the drill, man. We're not stopping until Stewie gets a new car from Walmart.
They're like, ooh, y'all aren't
Yeah,
stopping.
right. So take that.
Yeah, take that, Walmart.
We ain't going away. We're going to talk to Jimmy Burrow here on
We've
this
taken down a
Wednesday
school
morning.
before.
Huh?
You've taken down a school before.
That's
You get
right.
Walmart's a
You
good
can
step
take
for
down
you.
Walmart.
Oh, that'd be huge.
Walmart's
Be a hell of a get.
Mercy, Walmart.
Walmart.
Easy on the mercy. Easy on the mercy. Shut it backtrack there.
Enjoy Good Friday.
We're going to talk to Jimmy Burrow. We've got a text message into Brody here this morning. We hit him with an early text message. Usually he wakes up and responds with a thumbs up if he can make it happen. We'll talk to him hopefully at some point. We are scheduled to talk to Jimmy Burrow at 8:15 this morning. Huge day for the Pelicans. Play-in night. Hopefully Noah can tell us and get us set up for tonight's Pelican Spurs game. Got the late tip-off. No
God.
Zion.
Nobody will be watching.
Yeah, I don't know.
What
We're-
time's the tip off?
I don't know.
7:30. My God.
8:30.
8:30.
8:30 tip-off. Pelicans and Spurs on the play-in game. But LSU spring football practice yesterday. Great practice film from Stewie, Noah, and the crew who were out there yesterday. Mike Denbrock was speaking to the media. About 17 minutes with the offensive coordinator. We'll give you some reaction to some of the things that he said for the LSU offense and what to look out for. Some of the other assistant coaches were speaking as well. A pretty interesting interview with defensive line coach for LSU and Jamar Cain sitting down with the Athletic, or a couple of the sound bites picked up by the Athletic about Jamar Cain, how he ended up with LSU and not following Lincoln Riley to USC. So lots to get to here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind. We appreciate you starting your Wednesday here with us. We will have our Foodie Friday segment tomorrow.
Ooh, really?
Yes. Got the crew coming in.
Okay.
We're going to keep it rolling here. Compliments of our friends over at Iverstein's.
What are they making? What's the
I
meat?
don't know. Menu was being set last night when we were talking about it, and I never got kind of an affirmative of what we were going to be eating. So I'm sure it'll be buttery.
I'm sure it'll be buttery. Buttery Tuesday. Buttery Thursday.
That's right.
I was trying to think of Tasty Thursday, Friday
Tasty
foodie. I was trying to
Thursday.
think of something for him.
Thirsty Thursday.
But that is always.
That was when your mom used to make us cocktails. Remember, we
know.
used to require the foodie segment that they
Bring
also bring a
booze.
cocktail.
Yeah, I would just get extra butter. Which I'm all for. It's a health food.
It is a whole health food.
I'm terrified that she's going to hear this.
I know. She's going to be so mad.
Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet, Geaux, Chevrolet.com. Our phone line is brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group, and our official spice is Papa Earl's, 30% less sodium than the competition. Pick them up wherever you shop locally. We'll talk to Jimmy Burrow in an hour. But let's start with a couple of the practice videos that we had from yesterday as LSU was out on the practice field. They were actually indoors with the weather yesterday afternoon, and both Stewie and Noah were there. Fellas, we'll start with Noah. What was some of the things that jumped out yesterday? Pretty good access again, right?
Yeah, no, I wasn't out there.
Okay.
Yesterday was
Okay.
yesterday was my mom's birthday. So we
Oh,
celebrated
wow.
her birthday.
Shout out. Give her a shout out. Happy
Shout out
birthday.
Stacy Tingle.
What is she, 29?
It's Stacy.
Stewie, what'd you see, bro? A lot of good access yesterday.
access.
I mean, I thought
Had
that
us
the
on the
offensive line,
catwalk.
defensive line.
Yeah, I
was
saw a
good
lot
stuff.
of offensive line, defensive line.
Yeah.
That's what I was really focused on. Got to see a lot of Will Campbell. You got a good look at who's on the first team defense right here on this pursuit drill. Sage Ryan was in the nickel.
It was
Which
good to
is-
see. It's good
which
to
is
see
new.
Sage Ryan. Look
Yeah.
at look how big Langlois is now.
Yeah.
14 running out there. Man, he has put some weight on from the last time that we've seen him last fall, and have heard some really good things about him. There's Savion Smith in the on the defensive line. Jacoby and Guillory, who we've heard is having a really good spring practice. That's one of your boys from Alexandria.
That's right.
Lloyd is seemingly stepping up and having a really good practice. And
that
and a really
turf
good,
in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a really good spring.
It's not a grow house.
I mean, it kind of looks real, though. I thought I saw some mud. That's why I had
Every
to ask.
time we're out there, though, somebody who always stands out is Mason Smith. Like
Mason.
he's just like, he's massive. And then when they do offensive line, defensive line drills, he is dominant.
Really?
Like dominant, pushing people around.
Where is he?
He's a defensive tackle. He's
What
zero.
number?
Zero.
Probably the biggest person out there.
By far.
Yeah.
But another day of LSU spring drills, you get a kind of a look of where they are in installation. I thought it was interesting yesterday that Mike Denbrock was talking about where he was in the installation part of this offense, and he said he was right around like kind of the 30% mark, and really last week had to pull it back from a standpoint of, you were really starting to see the effect of the players. I mean, they were drinking out of a fire hose. I mean, it was a lot of information. It was a lot to take in. It was a lot of new. And I thought what Denbrock was talking about that stood out to me was it seems like they need to get in better shape. I mean, some of the comments that Denbrock was making just about the drills in practice and the difference that he's seen in the players responding out there is the movement in practice. And I think this kind of goes into what we've talked about a little bit of what you see on the practice field. Yesterday, Wilson Alexander alluded to it. Come off that bong over there,
Are
buddy.
you okay?
You okay?
Wrong pipe.
What are you drinking?
Water, unfortunately. It always tries to kill me. That's why I usually booze up before the show.
Well, serves you right. Fucking Lloyd, where was I?
Mike Denbrock said that the offensive line. No, it said the offense is out of shape.
Shut up.
They need to drink more water.
Yes. Cody, tell your mom happy birthday from our. Noah, tell your mother happy birthday from Cody Boudreaux. He sent a $5 super chat.
It's at $69. That's perfect. Mike Denbrock.
Yes. Oh, he was talking about the difference between practices, and we've been asked on, what changes, what stands out, what's the difference in LSU's practice, and everybody says organization, structure. It looks different. There's attention to detail. But some of the stuff that Denbrock, I thought, said yesterday was kind of highlighting some of those things that we're trying to kind of portray or describe, right? And it's kind of drill to drill. Like he was talking about the wide receivers yesterday. He was asked directly about the wide receiver group. And he said, look, love the group, a lot of talent. Hankton's doing a great job working with them day in, day out. But they need more stamina, is what he said. They need to be, and kind of reading between the lines, I mean, he's saying they need to be in better shape. And they need to be able to play into the fourth quarter, play into the third and fourth quarter, not take themselves out after a adverse moment that they may go through out there, is kind of some of the things that he was talking about. And that, to me, is the difference in where Kelly is with this team on the practice field very early on, just past the halfway mark of his first spring practice. I mean, we're talking about, 9 practices that you've seen? And on an average of, 30 minutes because of some of the full practices. He's let you see one full practice. But, I mean, all in all, you're staying in there on the practices that are closed for about 20, 25 minutes. And you see the organization, you see the structure, but it really is about the high pace, moving around with a purpose, and getting people, once they get to a place, there's a clear plan of what they're trying to get accomplished, and then it's kind of on to the next thing. And Denbrock was talking about where the installation was, and them having to pull that back over the last couple of days and going back to last week, just because it's a little system overload with new faces, new drills, new expectation of you got to be in shape to make it through these practices, and you're expected to be on the practice field if you're healthy enough to go. So I mean, those are some of the changes that I think the small kind of pivots that LSU football is making on just a day-to-day operational standpoint, that you will see difference. You will see the difference in when they take the field and you see them for the first time, whether it's in the spring game or next fall, versus Florida State.
Is this the first time they've ever been allowed into an indoor practice? I feel like once that move was made, the practice, all media availability was cut off. Like last year, it happened all the time. Whenever they would, it would rain, and they'd be like, all right, we're going to the indoor facility. Best of luck to whoever
they
wants.
wouldn't let media in
No,
the
they
indoor
wouldn't let
facility?
media in, but now they let them into the indoor facility. Is that new?
No, I think that you could go in and watch practices, especially during spring. Spring is a much different policy. Maybe during the fall, where during fall camp, they would probably kind of hide behind the indoor facility and keeping the media out. But it's a much different. It's much different in spring. I mean, just like Kelly opening up to a full practice, I think, kind of gives you the idea of the access that's granted during this time of the schedule. And, you would not anticipate that come fall of, having any access. But, no, I think that the indoor is, it's usually open during this part of the schedule. Cody Boudreaux says, I'm not a fan of a 2-quarterback system, but Brian Kelly's comments lately seem like LSU might be leaning in that direction, but who knows? It is still early. I thought that Mike Denbrock was asked about it, and obviously Brian Kelly was talking about it last week. And when he was talking about kind of the system overload part of that press conference of installation and a lot of information, I think he was directing that a lot towards the quarterbacks, because it sounds like, and he alluded to this yesterday, they put a lot in the quarterback's hands. They put a lot on the quarterback's plate. They put a lot of responsibility, and, they just put a lot of the offense in the quarterback's hands. And, a lot of that is being installed and being put in right now.
Why is everybody saying there's going to be a 2-quarterback system? Is it real? Is that for sure?
Well, I think just because of where the competition is.
Mm-hmm.
I think the competition, and Denbrock said it yesterday, he's got really healthy competition at that spot.
Yeah,
and I
for
think,
sure.
You've got a guy in a skill set. You got similar skill sets in some guys, and then you've got polarizingly opposite skill sets on others. And Miles Brennan is very much the outlier compared to Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier, and even Walker Howard to a degree. But I've really taken Walker Howard, just for the sake of the argument, from here on out. I've kind of got Walker Howard as kind of an outsider on this competition, because the way that I view Howard is that you'd like to get him some snaps this season that mean nothing, right? Like that mean into the games, blowouts, no opportunities to really impact the scoreboard. But you put him in there to get the experience of the speed of the game, let him build some confidence, just something that he can go back to and really realize some opportunities to grow. Like, I went out there, I accomplished this, but I need to get really a lot better of doing this. I need to get stronger in this area. That's how I think you manage Walker Howard's freshman season. Whether you redshirt him or not, I trust Brian Kelly and the Howards to make that decision and whatever best suits Walker and LSU. So just for the sake of the argument, I really don't have him in this 2022-2023 quarterback competition, right? I think this is a three-headed competition between Miles Brennan, Jaden Daniels, and Garrett Nussmeier. And I think Nussmeier and Daniels are very similar in their skill set, that they are dual threat to a degree, right? Nussmeier's got probably more of a live arm than Daniels does. Daniels probably relies and has better athleticism in the pocket, but both of them can help you out in both sides of the play sheet. Whether you want your quarterback to run it or whether you want your quarterback to throw it, Daniels and Nussmeier can do just about anything you need them to do from that standpoint. Brennan is not going to be able to move around as much as you need him to. But if you have a system and an offensive line that can protect him and keep the pocket clean, he can make all of the throws. And, I think that with Desmond Ridder last year in Cincinnati, Mike Denbrock showed that he likes his quarterback to be able to move a little bit, but he also likes for him to be able to stand back there and throw the ball down the field. So it's kind of which way are you going to go? I hate a two-quarterback system.
When's the last time LSU used one?
Jarrett Lee, Jordan Jefferson?
Is that 2011?
Would that be?
Yeah, that would probably be the last time. I was trying to think if there's one since
Was that
then.
successful? Did that work out?
Don't.
Yeah.
Oof.
Workout.
It worked for
Nothing
every.
You went to the
worked out on
national
offense with Les
championship
Miles.
game.
Yeah.
It worked for every game except Alabama, right? Like, that's when you did it the first time, and that's when Jordan Jefferson was able to come into the game. Alabama wasn't prepared. Jordan Jefferson plays well because he's able to run the ball, and that's not what Alabama had prepared for all week. It was the first time Les Miles had ever thrown a wrinkle at Nick Saban, and so it worked, but then it was probably ultimately your downfall for the national championship, I would say.
Why, though?
Just because
It's so predictable.
It became
it
so
was-
predictable.
it was
Short side
so-
option.
Um,
But Jarrett Lee he couldn't beat Alabama. That was his boogeyman.
Yeah.
He looked lost out there, so you
Well, he
had
looked-
to do it.
He was seeing ghosts.
he was very bug-eyed.
Oof.
When the eyes were wide and Saban was
Had
foaming
a
at the
fork
mouth.
and knife in
I
his
mean,
hand.
just like-
Jesus.
Well, how was
Slice him
Jefferson
up.
against
dicing him
Alabama?
up. The first time, Saban, they weren't prepared for him because,
Jarrett Lee was trending to be an all-SEC quarterback that year.
Absolutely.
He was playing fantastic
he
football.
was playing really good, and he had kind of conquered a lot of the demons that had haunted him in playing that position. But my theory on quarterbacks, it's like a point guard. If you run a 2-point guard system or you run a 2-quarterback system, it means you don't have one, right? Like, as Denbrock said yesterday, when asked what he feels about a 2-quarterback system, he said both that, look, they've run him in the past, and he's been with Brian Kelly, and they've done this. They've run him in the past before. But if you got one guy that's the clear standout, you play that guy. And
So when you have a 2-quarterback system, it looks like you don't have one strong quarterback. Is
well,
that
not
people's
every
problem?
time.
If you
I
got
mean,
two,
I
you
think that
probably
there-
have none.
I think
Right.
that there are some scenarios where to me, the best 2-quarterback system I've ever seen run executed was Matt Flynn, Ryan Perrilloux.
Yeah.
Just because they were so different in their skill set, and you could throw Perrilloux into the game, and he was a wild card. He was a guy that he could throw it over your head, or he could run you over, or he could run past you. And Flynn was much more of a surgeon, right? Like he'd 12-yard out you here, he'd screen pass you here, he'd quarterback draw you there, and next thing you know, it's 1st and goal. And I mean, it was 2 ways to skin the cat. You know what I mean? And they were so different in skill set. They complemented so well to one another that it was just, from a defensive coordinator standpoint, it must have been a nightmare of just thinking, man, when 11 comes in the game, who knows what they're going to do? They're either going to run quarterback keep or they're going to run fake quarterback keep, and he's going to hit Hurley Doucette for a huge play. And that's the best I've seen. So when you have guys like that, maybe it makes a little sense. When you've got a guy that has a similar skill set to one another, so you've got kind of the same player and two people, and then you've got one that's polarizingly opposite from those guys, maybe they could, put a series or two where you throw Nussmeier and Daniels in if Miles Brennan is the guy, just to kind of change the pace of the game. But, that's a lot of install from an offensive standpoint. It's a lot of stuff that hey, when they get in the game, this is what we're running. When Brennan's in the game, this is how you run it. Not that it can't be done. If he's talking about
but that's harder for everyone else, right?
it's just more. It's more information.
Yeah.
It's more to take on. It's more that you have to. It's more that you have to process. It's more that you have to execute.
Yeah.
And in college football world today, coaches are trying to take. They're trying to free them up. You know what I mean? They're trying to take the information and slim it down so you don't have as much to think about out there. You want your players playing fast without thinking. And the more information you get, the more they got to think. Daily, we're brought to you by GoFlow IV. Check out our friends over at GoFlow IV by logging online to GeauxFlowIV.com. GoFlowIV.com is where you can find them online. Easiest place to make your appointment is right there online. They take walk-ins, but they recommend that you make an appointment today. They offer memberships over at GoFlow, 3-month, 6-month, annual memberships located on Jefferson Highway. And as we said, easiest to find them on their website at GeauxFlowIV.com. GeauxFlowIV.com is where you find them online. Katie and I were there earlier this week. Very easy. Had our appointment, walked in, 35 minutes later, out the door.
Mine was slow.
Yeah.
Mine was slow.
Clotty.
Like, he drank his.
Yeah.
And every time we go, people DM me and ask, is it worth it? Is it good? And I'm telling you, like, I got the energy one, the one with B12, and I was tired, and I felt so good the rest of the day. So good.
Might sneak in today.
It seems like you need to, buddy.
I can't drink water apparently, so I might as well just get it injected straight
Put it
into
in
my
your veins.
veins. Yes.
Huge night for the New Orleans Pelicans. We will get a little preview of tonight. No Zion, which is disappointing.
It is disappointing.
Hate to.
That would have been electric if they had brought him back.
Or maybe they're going to surprise us.
Nah.
What?
Always
When's
think
the
that.
other play-in
Maybe
game,
it's
Noah?
just a shock.
They have to win this one, and then they play Friday.
They play the Clippers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean.
Yeah.
Is it lose or go home today?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, because I
I mean,
saw
this is the playoffs.
yeah, the play-in for the playoffs.
This is the
yeah.
postseason,
The
though.
7 and 8 seed get a second chance.
That's
9
what I
and
knew.
10
There was some caveat.
9 and 10 seed. If you lose the first game, you're gone.
Minnesota Timberwolves won the NBA Finals last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're the 9 seed, right?
Yeah. So the Pelicans are the 9 seed. They play the Spurs tonight, are the 10 seed. The Timberwolves were 7, Clippers were 8, Timberwolves 1. So we'll play the Clippers for the 8 seed. If we beat the Spurs tonight. So the Spurs are not a bad matchup. But they really only have like one star scorer. And with the Pelicans, we can stop that because Herb Jones is an absolute freak on the defensive end of the floor, who we all saw at Alabama last year. And so he'll just shut down whoever your number one scorer is, and then it's up to the guys on offense to make plays. And Brandon Ingram should be a go. So
Jesus, I would hope.
you got 3 20-point scores on offense. So I think the Pelicans should be able to ride out and get a win.
Who's San Antonio's best player now? Is it Murray?
DeJounte Murray, yeah, he was an all-star this past year. He's averaged like 21, 22 points. He's panned out to be a great two-way kind of guy, defensively and offensively. But it's going to be interesting to see who steps up because, like I said, the Pelicans can stop your best scorer. It's who the ancillary parts that can beat the Pelicans.
Have they played? What was the outcome this year when they met? Did they? Because I know they played. Would they play a
Yes.
couple of times?
I think they played them recently, actually.
Yeah, San Antonio beat them the last time out.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it was 107-103. But, I mean, the Pelicans have won the second most recent matchup they've played. They played March 18th and March 26th, so both pretty recently. Pelicans won one, Spurs won one. But I think the last time the Spurs won one, Brandon Murray did not play. So, you get your best scorer back, and then you still have C.J. McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas out there. But both teams are very similar. Spurs don't make mistakes, as they never really have under Greg Popovich. They don't turn the ball over. They don't put themselves in a bad spot. So it's really up to the Pelicans to kind of step up to the plate and make plays.
Is Popovich still the coach?
Oh, yeah.
He's still rolling.
Still
What
rolling.
a miserable old man.
He is, but he loves basketball.
He does.
He does
And he's a
love
basketball
basketball.
genius.
Yeah. I would still rank him as probably,
Top 5?
if
Absolutely.
not the best coach, probably, top 5 coach in
Yeah.
the league. LeBron loves him.
Who's the best coach in the league?
Steve Kerr.
No.
Yeah, break.
Steve
Relax.
Kerr is. What are you talking about? He changed.
Budenholzer.
Yeah, he's up there.
Spoelstra.
I think Nick Nurse
Spoelstra.
is smart.
Nick Nurse.
Nick Nurse is good.
Nick Nurse.
Quinn Snyder, Lloyd's favorite coach.
Oh, yes. Well, I know because he's up all the time grinding out the tape.
Yeah.
The guy doesn't
He
sleep.
looks like Lloyd.
Looks like a villain.
Bug-eyed and slick hair.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know what they do in Utah.
Can't drink water.
Allergic to the stuff.
Right.
Fish fucking it.
LSU got some news yesterday. Mwani Wilkenson coming back to
Yes.
school. That's a big one for
Huge.
Matt McMahon, which we anticipate Coach McMahon's going to be coming through the Jordy Culotta show in studio for Coach.
Ooh.
Yay.
On Tuesday morning, it's looking like, after talking to the doctor, Kent Lowe, yesterday, and having a couple of backs and forth with Coach McMahon, and looking forward to meeting him and getting him in studio, asking him about the challenges here in year one. And it looked like he got some really good news yesterday as Mwani Wilkenson decided that he is going to take his name out of the transfer portal and come back to LSU. It's a big story for LSU basketball, if for nothing else. Just a little bit of stability, not a lot. Obviously, you'd like to get a couple of more core guys back to the program, but Mwani Wilkinson's a great start of somebody that, look, you don't have to tell him where the training room is. You don't have to tell him how to get to his classes. You don't have to go through that part of what's going to be breaking in and learning a new roster for these first-year coaches and head coach and Matt McMahon. So I thought yesterday in getting Mwani Wilkenson back for LSU basketball, look, you know what you're getting in him, a really good defender. I was surprised to see. I know I saw what you put up on social media, and I totally agree with. When I saw that Texas Tech was on his short list, I thought that LSU really had no chance to get him because I think his style fits Texas Tech perfectly. I mean, just more of a defensive-minded player who, his skill set offensively it's got to improve. He can knock down those corner threes, but other than that, he's got to get more consistent on that side of the ball. But to beat Texas Tech, I thought was a big win for LSU yesterday on Mwani Wilkenson.
Yeah, I mean, he was a shoe-in for Texas Tech, in my opinion. When I saw them pop up on the list, I thought that's where he was headed, without a doubt, just because of how great of a fit he was, because he's so heavy on the defensive side. But return to LSU is huge because it looks good on the outside. Like, you see a player return, it looks good for Coach McMahon because you're getting the former players to buy in return. But this also gives Mwani the opportunity to expand his game offensively because we kind of saw him take a next step. He was in the dunker spot majority of his freshman year, only catching lobs really. Then his sophomore year, now he's in the corner shooting threes. So it's time to see him take another step.
Yeah.
Hopefully this one's bigger because he's going to have a much larger role.
Yeah, he needs to have he needs to make a bigger impact on offense. He's got to take that next stride between year 2 and 3. And then yesterday, Eric Gaines announced he's going to UAB. I saw a lot of the reaction out there on Eric Gaines and many people talking about how they felt like that was almost a demotion in play. I don't know the complete story on Gaines, but I think that the decision on him to leave LSU was made a while ago.
Yeah.
I think that was made probably in just past the midseason mark. I don't know if Will Wade would have, even being on staff, would have been able to bring Gaines back. I think that he had his mind made up that he was leaving LSU, and he was going to a place that, he wasn't going to come off the floor. He was going to play a lot of basketball and be able to show off who he is. And UAB fits that style, and that's where he landed yesterday at University of Alabama, Birmingham. So Gaines will play his final 2 seasons for the Blazers. And as we talked a little bit about yesterday, Brandon Murray has pledged to Georgetown with Coach Kevin Nickelberry, and we expect Alex Fudge to land at Florida, where it looks like the big man for LSU is trending. And Efton Reed, I know, took a visit last week to Virginia Tech. He's also talked to Georgetown and Kevin Nickelberry. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. And Justice Williams feels like he's another one that McMahon can possibly get back. I think
How
that.
do you get them back? Like, why is Mwani all of a sudden coming back?
Well, I think that he's listened to other schools, and he probably thinks to himself, "Do I want to move? Do I want to pick up and go somewhere else? Do I want to start over?" Or I'm sure he sat down with Matt McMahon. He knows Tasman Mitchell, and he heard what those guys had to say. I think that he listened and said, maybe I should just stay. One thing that Mwani knows is going to happen is that he's going to play a ton at LSU.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to come off the floor.
Right.
So, one thing that Matt McMahon has that he can sell, which is gold to basketball players, is playing time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like an LSU offensive lineman. If you want to play, there's playing time available.
Right.
Or you can just go to Alabama.
Which we saw Tyler Steen do yesterday.
But with Mwani, I think one of the big reasons for him to come back is every basketball player's goal is to make it to the NBA. Like, you want to go to the next level. And I think if he goes to Texas Tech, he stays the same player. And I don't think he has as good of an opportunity to take that next jump. But he comes back to LSU. He has more of an opportunity to expand himself and play a bigger role. And that's going to make it easier for him to get looks at the next level.
Joseph Fine, Stewie's dead shirt is amazing.
Thanks.
It is, Stewie.
Thanks.
Stewie.
Still have a car.
Don't you play?
He's
Stu,
just
you
mad
play
at Walmart
guitar?
Back there.
Yeah.
Trombone?
Do you, Stewie?
No,
You
I
play
don't play
guitar?
guitar.
Oh.
Katie, you're so gullible.
I know.
I can tell you anything.
I know.
Do you listen to the Grateful Dead?
No.
Yeah. You
Just for the
you
shirt.
yeah,
I
you
listen to
flag
country
it.
music, though.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, he does.
You do
Yeah.
not.
I do.
You're lying.
Morgan Wallen. Favorite country music artist. I'm
See, I
serious.
didn't believe
Speak
that
your
one. You do
language.
not listen to Morgan Wallen.
I'm serious.
I don't believe you. I'm sorry.
Katie, why don't you believe me?
Well,
Morgan
you just
Wallen has
lied
the
to me and then
pass.
said, "Why are you so gullible?" That is something I'm not going to
I'm
believe.
just telling
for
you,
sure.
like, I listen to Morgan Wallen.
No black people are listening to Morgan Wallen.
No, he got the pass. He must know something we don't.
Joseph Fine says, I'm about to be biking
Morgan
around
Wallen.
Seaside with a 10-month-old in a trailer. Y'all wish me luck.
Okay, Joseph.
What's the weather like over there? Andrew Messina, Sharif should stay. He'd start and play a lot. I agree.
What is he doing? What's the deal with Sharif?
He's still in the portal. He's listening. Another one you can have an opportunity. Jeff and Kenner, I see Ace Miller and Sharif returning. Ace Miller would be a huge pickup. I see Ace Miller landing at a blue blood.
Yeah.
I know that Duke, Kansas, Kentucky really starting to pick up and throw a lot of heat towards Adam Miller. So we'll wait and see what he does. But that would be an enormous get for LSU.
But we really do need LSU needs to add some size. Really, a majority of the moves have been guards, with Justice Hill from Murray State and the other Trey from Murray State.
Yeah.
And then they picked up the guy from NC State.
Yeah, NC
who's
State.
also a point guard.
Right.
And then now Mwani. So
it's not all doom and gloom, right? It's getting better.
yeah, they've got
Really
some
thought.
guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's
They will fill the team.
6 players.
Yeah.
Five starters and a
moves are
bench
still
player.
happening. There's still time to make more moves, right? So
oh yeah, they got a lot of time, but the selection of players is not.
Right.
That's the issue. That's the problem, is that really the field that you're choosing from, it's going to be tough to put an entire roster. That's the challenge. It's not like you're putting together 4 or 5 guys.
Right.
4 and 5 guys would be daunting
Yeah.
to a college basketball coach. You know what I mean? Like if you stepped in, took a job, and you're like, Coach, I mean, you got 5 open spots. I mean, like your starting 5's gone. You know, I mean, you gotta go in and you gotta bring those guys in. You'd be like, damn, man, we got some work to do. You know what I mean? Like Matt McMahon took the job. Was like, Coach, welcome aboard. You don't have a player.
No, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's just you got to totally rebuild the entire roster. And
But
I
he's
mean,
doing it.
yeah,
right?
I mean,
he's doing it.
that's the deal. But I mean,
Day
it's
one,
just,
we were very depressed about it. Remember, it was very doom and gloom. And now
well,
things are
I
looking
still
up.
think that it's very doom and gloom.
Yeah,
Like it's
better.
You're starting to see what it's going to be played with. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
how you're going to get there. So we'll see. We'll see. Daily, we're brought to you by City Cafe. Remember our friends over at City Cafe. Get over for lunch today. CityCafeBR.net on the corner of O'Neill and George O'Neill. Been in business for 100 years. So stop in and see Squeaky, Cody, Dirk, and the crew today. As we said, Wednesday lunch special. They also have brunch that opens up at 10 a.m. CityCafeBR.net. CityCafeBR.net. Jimmy Burrow going to stop by here at 8:15 this morning. Joey B and the crew throwing the first pitch out yesterday in Cincinnati as they welcomed the AFC champs. Jamar was out there. T. Higgins was out there as Cincinnati was beaten yesterday on opening day. But Joey B throwing a strike. Went with the full windup.
He looked like didn't he used to pitch? Isn't that what Jimmy said? Whenever he said we talked about him playing multiple sports whenever he was a kid, and he said that his best sport might have been baseball, and that's the one that he kind of wanted to stick with. And I think he played pitcher and shortstop.
Really?
I mean, he looked very natural up there.
Well, of course, he's great at everything he does.
He had the Superman curl.
He does. He's rocking that.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Christopher Brown says it's not going to be all right.
Okay,
Oh,
The
that's
basketball?
a tough name to
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Christopher Brown?
Well, Chris Brown.
Oh, that never crossed my mind, but yeah, I guess so.
Ray Finkel.
Oh,
When-
Finkel and Einhorn.
I was like, wait, is that really in there?
When will Jordy get over his Will Wade man crush depression and move on to the new era of LSU basketball? What's the new era of LSU basketball? Not bad, a little high.
He's
On Burrow.
trying not to go upper 90s on this guy. Short-armed it a little bit.
Oh, is that Zach Taylor on the catch?
Oh.
Okay. I was wondering. I thought they would have thrown Votto out there.
Look at that relationship between quarterback and head coach.
You're welcome, Zach.
Yeah, I didn't even look at him.
Enjoy your life
Yeah.
with millions
Between-
coming your way.
Relationship between head coach and assistant coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you promoted Zach Taylor to assistant?
We'll let you call the plays, Coach.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, we're going to talk to Jimmy coming up here at 8:15 this morning and get the latest on the offseason for Joey, some of the offseason moves, some offensive linemen that they got in the offseason, including Lyle Collins. We'll ask him about the comment that Tyrann Mathieu made on Joe right here on this show that got national news, ended up on the NFL Network and Sports Center of talking about what Tyrann thought of Burrow. We'll ask Jimmy his thoughts on that and any other questions that you may have. Jump inside of the chat app and we'll ask Jimmy here. It's also mailbag questions today. We've got our mailbag segment. So if you've got a mailbag question, remember every Wednesday here on the Jordy Culotta Show, we'll answer your questions via mailbag. All you got to do is hashtag mailbag. We'll make sure and get them read and answered here before we get out of here
Who's
at
Nymeria?
9 a.m. I've got no idea.
Why is everybody talking about Nymeria?
I don't know.
No one
Nymeria.
knows who that is?
I have no idea.
It's
about
a
that.
Find out
dog.
who
It's
that
a
is.
dog in Game
This
of
is
Thrones.
dangerous to do.
This is to ask who
Yeah, it's
Nymeria
to ask,
is. Well,
just to
everybody's
ask
talking about.
questions that nobody knows anything about.
It's the dog in
it's
Game
a
of
wolf.
Thrones.
Well, I
It's a wolf
just
from
figured everyone
Game of
knew
Thrones.
since everyone
Thank
is in
you.
here talking
Sorry,
about
guys.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lloyd.
That's the dog. Its name. That's the name of Jody's
Nymeria.
dog?
Yeah, that's one of them.
I
They had
forgot
they had a
about that.
bunch of them. They all got slaughtered.
I know. I hated that.
Bad
You
pet
must not
owners.
have watched Game of Thrones.
Bad
not,
pet owners.
not one episode.
I'm sorry that I asked that
Oh, the
question.
dad dies.
No. Thank you. I'll never watch one.
Why not?
It's a shocking. That's in like in the
Too long.
first season.
I know, but it's good, Jordy.
It's too long.
It's
No,
good.
I've heard that from everybody, and
Hodor.
He's out.
dead.
I'm out. I'm
Oh,
out. They even
God.
tried to give me with the wedding scene.
Red Wedding was excellent.
the Red
I was
Wedding
out.
was
I mean, it was
good.
good.
Somebody got
I
their
get
dick
it.
chopped off?
Yeah, I
Wait,
saw
so
it.
you watched the red wedding scene?
I've
but
seen the
just
red
not
wedding
a-
scene.
Okay.
It didn't pull me in.
Really?
Arya Stark, little butt.
And I've done this before. I was a little bit of kind of out on Breaking Bad early.
Ooh.
And
And
then
they pulled you back
yeah,
in.
and
I did the same
I
thing,
saw it with a
actually, with
scene,
that.
and then I was all in. I'm actually now when it's on, it looks like FX is running like kind of just marathons of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, they really are. It's
I'll
weird.
stop and just kind of like.
Because you'll catch you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you'll see one episode and be like, oh, now I've watched it for 4 hours in a row.
I know.
Breaking Bad is great.
Best scene I've ever seen on television, Breaking Bad.
The Fly.
Don't say the bathtub all through
No,
the floor. 'cause
second to
that
last
freaks me out.
season in Mexico by the pool.
Oh, that is great.
Is that
yes,
a great
with
scene?
Gus?
Remember.
Yes.
Yes.
Gus.
Golly.
Is that a great
Are y'all
scene?
watching? Are y'all doing Better Call Saul?
No.
I'm not.
It's the same thing. It's very good. Like, you have to give it a chance and kind of dive into it. It's different.
Yeah.
But obviously Vince Gilligan did that also, and it is a phenomenal show.
Really? I
Yeah.
wondered about that.
It's good.
I was kind of done with Breaking Bad when it was done.
But it's just been interesting to see like the parallels that they kind of are running toward. Like
Yeah.
every now and then you'll see you'll see Tuco, and then you're like, oh god, that guy's no good.
Yeah.
But he's not. It's not about him. You
Right.
just see little cameos of people that you saw in Breaking Bad, and it's just cool.
Oh, that is
Show is
cool.
good, and then Saul Goodman's awesome.
Yeah.
Hayden Parrish, Jordy has Generation Z attention span. He's transgenerational.
What are your pronouns? Fast forward and rewind.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show. We need to do a test call here.
Yes,
the break?
we'll do it in the break.
All right, we'll
Just
be
real
right
quick.
back here with the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. For over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. All right, personal testimony from my trip over to Johnson and Spillers. Shout out to my friend Dr. Chad Spillers for taking care of me, man. I had to have my front tooth, a tooth implanted on my front tooth, and it was a hell of an ordeal, but Dr. Spillers and the crew from Johnson and Spillers made it as easy and seamless as possible to work with and have taken the final product, and it is absolutely beautiful. Learn more online at johnsonspillers.com. Whether you're looking for Botox or you need help in any type of dentistry, whether it is dentures, night guards, if you're looking for Invisalign, if you're interested in implant dentistry like I got, you can get in touch with Johnson Spillers. Online, johnsonspillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easiest way to get them, online at johnsonspillers.com. City Cafe online at citycafebr.net, where good friends meet. Great food and even better service, located in the shopping center behind Rite Aid on the corner of George O'Neill and O'Neill Lane. They cater for parties big and small. Sundays, they serve a fantastic brunch that starts at 10 a.m. They have daily lunch specials. And remember, you can look at everything online at citycafebr.net. We'll give a shout out to Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, Dirk and the crew, everybody over at City Cafe for their support here, the Jordy Culotta Show. Online, citycafebr.net.
Noah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I can hear you. All right, thank you.
All right, welcome back here to a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. Talking a little bit about the series Winning Time on HBO. If you are not watching it and are a sports fan, it is incredible television. The acting sets it apart, really.
Everything does. The videography. Like,
Everything.
everything.
But I mean, the acting first and foremost is so on point and so good. It really it draws you in. The latest episode is detailing Magic Johnson signing with Converse his
You're
rookie
just screaming
year
the whole time.
in Los Angeles. And one of the huge winners of Winning Time is going to be Phil Knight and Nike. Because first of the acting job, whoever is playing Phil Knight is incredible at playing that role. If you know who Knight is or if you've read the book Shoe Dog, that is a great read. And gives you an idea of the personality of Phil Knight and how he got Nike started selling track shoes out of the trunk of his car. And once they made the transition into basketball, he approaches a very young Irvin Magic Johnson at where are they? Because I mean, it's a very bustling.
I didn't know if it was like a convention.
It's
I
like
think
it
it
seems
was
like
a
some
shoe
type of
convention.
convention,
Yeah.
right?
It's
like,
a shoe thing,
is
right?
it
It was a shoe
deal?
thing.
Okay, okay.
They had all the
Yeah.
shoe companies
Because
they're
there.
all
at
the
the-
brands were there.
They're at the shoe convention, and Phil Knight makes his pitch to Magic Johnson to put his name on a pair of. It seems like it's these shoes, really. I mean, like
It's the Blazers.
the high
Blazers.
top,
Yeah.
the high top Nike Blazers. And I mean, history is history.
Well,
You know how it goes. And he ends up signing with Converse. And I don't know this for a fact, but I do know that Joe Dean was instrumental in Converse in building that brand. And what he was best at, Joe Dean, why he was on staff, was because he could get the players. He could recruit the guys. Like, he was the one that got Julius Erving. He was the one that got Larry Bird. I mean, for a while there, Converse had.
How did Converse fail?
Seriously.
I know. I wondered that too. I feel
mean,
like I remember it
the
happening.
Warrior shoe, the purple and gold Converse that Magic Johnson wore was maybe the
fire.
finest shoe ever. I mean, LSU wore it, I believe, in 85, 86, the year they went to the Final Four.
Remember, you could change the color of the stars. Did y'all have
Yeah,
that
that's what I'm
pair where
telling
you could slide the star color in and out?
I mean, it was
Original Nike ID.
Yeah,
really
It
was.
was like that.
but it's just great. I mean, it's a great series.
Wait, Magic Johnson commented on this. Regrets choosing Converse over Nike. I would have been a trillionaire.
Yeah.
I mean, really, what
It
happened?
really
They
probably
filed
would
for
have.
The deal-
bankruptcy by 2001. They had filed for bankruptcy twice by that
Well,
point.
I think Nike bought them.
Oh, did they?
I think
think
Nike,
they have-
I think
Nike
bought-
does own Converse.
Yeah, Nike
Yeah.
owns
They
Converse.
sell Converse.
So is that what happened though? Is Nike just got so big with the Michael Jordan? I mean, it probably is that era. Whenever MJ comes up next,
Well, I
and
mean,
Nike
this
gets
is
so popular.
This
and
is
Converse
79.
falls. Yeah,
This is 79, and Jordan was drafted in 84. The first Jordans drop in 85. So, I mean, this is 6 years later. They still couldn't fit. I mean, Magic Johnson would have been ahead of the game by 6 years
oof.
Nike
he
bought
signs-
Converse in 03.
if he signs with
2003.
Nike. We will talk to Mike Jones Jr. will be in here. The linebacker for LSU will be in studio with us this morning, so we'll talk more spring football. with Mike Jones. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind. If you're watching with us, we appreciate you being here on this Wednesday. Remember, daily, we're brought to you by Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. No website, no social media. Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works has an easy phone number that we encourage you to type into your contacts list so you have it every single day. 776-2431, 225-776-2431. Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works is number one and a number two business. They can help you out with all of your plumbing problems today, whether it's residential, whether it's industrial. Get in touch with Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Call Jude today, 225-776-2431, 225-776-2431 is the phone number. We'll talk more spring football with Mike Jones coming up at the end of hour 2. Jimmy Burrow will be here at 8:15 telling us a little bit about Joey B and the Bengals here in the offseason and where they're going. Toot Robinson's asking about a Foodie Friday. We will have Foodie Friday, Toot. It will be tomorrow. We'll bump it up a day to Thursday, so we will have the crew in here tomorrow. This Miami Dolphins story with Tom Brady and Sean Payton is wild. I mean, it is and would have been the craziest story in the NFL over the last 20 years if Miami would have pulled this off. I don't know if you've heard about this. This is a story that's starting to kind of bubble. It's starting to come out on what Brady, Miami's owner, Stephen Ross, who these guys are aligned because they're both Michigan grads. Stephen Ross, I believe, is like the wealthiest, one of the most wealthiest Michigan grad. He founded Domino's. He was a Domino's guy. That's how he made all his money. Now he's the owner of the Miami Dolphins. He owns a bunch of real estate throughout South Florida. He wants Tom Brady to be his quarterback. He has tried to put Brady with the organization a couple of times. Tom Brady wants to be Miami's quarterback because they're in the same conference as Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. He wants to play the Patriots twice a year, stick it to Belichick. He wants to be in the conference. He's tried to make this happen, and their latest plan was foiled by a racist lawsuit that Brian Flores is claiming the workplace that Stephen Ross created is soaked in racism and blew up what would have been the deal and the heist that would feel like Ocean's 11 to the NFL. And the way that the story goes, as it's being reported by the Boston Globe, who's got great resources on this and dove in to this story and was able to dig up that Sean Payton and Tom Brady share the same agent. Don Yee is the guy's name. Yee has been representing Sean Payton since he was a college coach at San Diego State and has been representing Brady since he came out of Michigan to the NFL way back when he was drafted. So the common denominator on Sean Payton and Tom Brady is their agent. And Tom Brady, on the latest Chris Long podcast, tells an incredible story about Chris Long asks him, is there ever a guy in the draft that you were high on, you passed on, looked back and said, man, I told you so, or he turned out to be a great one? And Peyton says as soon as he answered it, he says, yeah, Brady. And he was the offensive coordinator with the New York Giants at the time. And he paints the scenario of like draft analyzation, like coaches in the same room going through player after player after player. Scouts are in the room, general managers in the room, all the coaches are in the room, and people are just going down the list. And you're assigned, for Sean Payton, he was looking at quarterbacks, offensive linemen, and running backs. So one of the quarterbacks, when they go around the room and it's Tom Brady, and they're evaluating Brady, Sean Payton says he's got a second-round grade on Brady. And the general manager at the time, who Payton is kind of like giving, more detailed facts to, saying like the guy will back me up. Like if you called him right now, he would tell you that draft day, I was telling them that this guy Brady is he doesn't look the part. He doesn't have all the speed and the jumping ability and all this stuff that you're looking for, but mentally he is way past the competition, and he can run our offense ultimately, is what Sean Payton was saying about Tom Brady. And Don Yee, their agent, was kind of telling Payton like, hey man, Brady's a player, look out. And Sean and Tom Brady shared a phone call in between the draft and Brady leaving Michigan, and Brady leaving Michigan and the combine. And Brady was asking Payton like, what should I be prepared for? What should I do? And Payton was telling him, be ready for this. Be ready to make this throw. Be ready to answer these questions. Have yourself in shape from a standpoint to be able to do these drills. Just was kind of giving him a little bit of a cheat sheet to the day, right? So there's always been this relationship between Brady and Payton. Now, Tom Brady goes on to become the greatest quarterback of all time, and Sean Payton goes on to be one of the most dynamic and, from a reputable standpoint, best play callers in football, right? I mean, somebody that is just a offensive football scientist. And these two, which I'd imagine through their agent, Don Yee, put a plan together of getting to Miami. And what Stephen Ross was going to do was going to offer Brady a piece of ownership in the Miami Dolphins and make him the president of football operations and bring him in as an executive to Miami, hire Sean Payton as the coach, and then Brady was going to step out of the front office, kind of like Michael Jordan did with the Washington Wizards when he was the president, and he'd show up to practice and be like, "And none of y'all could guard me. I should play." It came down at 38 years old and averaged 20 points a game.
Is this a bad look for Brady and Sean Payton? Because it seems like such a scheme. It's a wild plan.
It's an incredible, to read it,
Yeah.
you don't believe it.
I know.
I mean, it's so crazy of a plan. But if you start connecting the dots, like the Boston Globe does, and our friends over at Dan Levitard's show, Levitard and Friends, are doing, they are pouncing on this story because they were an inch away of having Tom Brady. I mean, the deal was done.
Yeah.
The deal was done. That's why Sean, really and truly, I mean, even didn't Sean Payton's retirement catch you kind of by surprise?
Mm-hmm.
I get why he did it. I understand that he's been there for 15 years. I see that he doesn't have a quarterback that he really trusts. There's nobody in the draft he really loves. He kind of swung and missed on Brady when he had a chance. If Breeze doesn't come back, maybe Brady and Sean Payton are coaching and quarterbacking the Saints right now. Who knows?
So they
Feels
both
like
fake
this.
retired.
So
basically.
they do a fake retirement.
Both of them.
Both of them. Because, as Levitard, those guys are pointing out, he never said he was retiring.
Right.
In his speech, he never said, he's like, I'm stepping away from this competitive part of my life. Everybody's like, he was never retiring. He just was stepping away so he could kind of get this.
Regroup.
Absolutely. He could get this ability to put himself in this position. Sean Payton retires. Next thing you know, these two guys.
Some bitches are talking.
Oh, I mean, Coach, they're an agent.
It's
You know what I mean?
crazy.
The agent in these guys' lives are not. It's not just a business manager or friend or partner. I mean,
It's a
this guy-
confidant.
This guy's a friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They play golf together. They vacation together. They hang out together.
So do you think any of these same things were kind of done with the Saints to get the same type of deal together where Sean Payton's like, look,
I don't
Tom,
think it
we
was
could-
there at that time.
just because
I don't think
Drew?
it was. I don't think it was. Yeah, I think that there was the Breeze effect, and I think that they were kind of behind closed doors. I think that Peyton and maybe even some of the Saints management probably had their fingers crossed, let's just see if Breeze can retire here. When Breeze caught wind that Brady's kind of waiting on you, bro.
I'm coming back.
Brady's waiting to see what you do because he's going to take your job if you retire, and he's probably going to win the Super Bowl with your roster. So what are you going to do?
Cuckold.
And Breeze is like, I'm too much of an attention slut. I can't let this go by, man. I gotta take this guy. I gotta take this job. I gotta do this. So who knows? I don't think that it was at a point where you had to offer Brady like ownership of the team. This Stephen Ross guy is so desperate to be relevant in football. It seems like he's been a laughingstock since he's been at the ownership table. Like, he's brought a couple of ideas. He sold some naming rights on some stadiums that have turned some owners off. He's just done some things at the owners meeting that the older white guys look at and snub their nose at, right? Like the Jerry Jones and the Robert Krafts of the
That's
world.
not how we do it here.
They don't like Stephen Ross.
But this would have been his moment.
He's got a young new money. If he can get Tom Brady and Sean Payton to coach and quarterback his team, he walks in naked to the next owners meeting. You know what I mean? Throws it on the table and said, "Who wants to take a picture with it?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, like, just that would have been his. That would have been his moment. That's what he's been desperately hoping for. I mean, as Flores points out and paints in his lawsuit, there was a prominent quarterback scheduled to meet Stephen Ross and Brian Flores on Stephen Ross's yacht out in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. And Ross, is like, or not Ross, Flores is like, "Coach, I'm not trying to do anything illegal, man. I want a life in football. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get banned from the sport by some of the actions just because you." So he didn't show up. Flores didn't show up. But as he points out, this isn't the first time that Ross is trying to make like these desperate pitches to Brady to like, whatever we got to do, man. You want equity in the team? You want to be the president? You can be the president and the quarterback. You can call the plays. You can get the players. I'll get you Sean Payton. Whatever it takes, make this happen. And the deal was done. The deal was almost delivered to Stephen Ross, and then Brian Flores casts his lawsuit or puts forth his lawsuit towards the Dolphins, Ross, the organization, and the entire story blows up in Miami and Ross's face. Deal is now kaput. Peyton is now wondering, like, I got to get into TV. You know what I mean? Like, I got to get into TV. Brady's got to fly across the ocean, go meet with the Glazers, who's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ownership group, and kind of come clean to, look, man, I was trying to get to Miami, and it didn't work out. I'll come back to Tampa if you got to get rid of Arians. We got to make some roster changes. We got to make this stuff happen because I'm not done with football.
God, it affected a lot of people.
I got a lot of football here.
How did it come out? Like, did someone leak this? Like, they didn't want this to come out.
No
right?
way. But I mean, you start doing so. Like when he retired. Oh, this is how the story goes. Is
when
like
Brady retired.
When Brady retired, in his message, he never said he retired. Mm-hmm. And he never thanked New England, and he never thanked Belichick, and he never thanked Robert Kraft, and that pissed Boston off. Like, Boston was like, he snubbed us. Tommy, like,
what of us?
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? And so, like, the Boston Globe is like, our people are pissed. There's a story there. Mm-hmm. And you put the resources in. I know that newspapers are dead. You know what I mean? Like, periodicals are in the graveyard, but places like the Boston Globe and like the Washington Post, people that have real money behind them. I mean, like Amazon owns Washington Post, right? I mean, the Boston Globe is one of the most reputable newspapers in the world.
Right.
Is that who they made the movie about?
The money.
That was.
You talking about
the Post, right?
That was the Post. You talking about Watergate?
No. That with like the Catholic Church scandal, wasn't that involved? Was that the Boston Globe? They made a huge movie about it. But anyway, continue.
But I mean, you have somebody with the reporting capability. I believe Ben Volen is the reporter on this. This guy's a reputable reporter doing old school journalism of like getting sources, getting information. and
Beating
riding
the
a-
streets.
Yeah,
Yes, how fun.
your worst nightmare.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like if
Yes.
you're Stephen Ross.
Showed up
Your
with
worst
pen and
nightmare.
pad.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, Stephen, Ben from the Boston Globe, can we get a couple of statements? Like, slam the door in his face.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my God.
What do you know?
And a guy like him starts digging around, and I mean, the story's written. Like this. You're not. People are just pulling this stuff out of the air. I mean, like this guy is like going around telling his story, and it's Ocean's 11. I mean, it is the heist of the NFL
It is.
to put Sean Payton and Tom Brady together in Miami through this strategy. You know what I mean? Like, both of you have to retire. I have to make Brady an executive and an owner of the team. You have to probably give Peyton. You got to sweeten the pot for Peyton. I'm sure he's not just going to be like, "Hey, look, man, I'm not." I mean, you're making he was making 11 with New Orleans. You got to imagine that Peyton's probably saying, "I need 15."
Hell yeah.
Sean, our boy out in L.A., McVay, he just got 20.
Right, I'm sure that whenever he started looking for jobs and the Miami Dolphins thing was still up in the air, and then he got the TV call, he's like, now I have leverage almost by accident to be able to get in with Miami. And who's to say why they can't do this next year? Tom Brady will just be a free agent. Sean Payton gets his 1 year off, then they just go reconvene in Miami next
Still
year.
could happen. Biggest winner here?
Miami.
Belichick. New England.
Oh, by it not happening?
Yes,
That's
he's,
right.
he's not foiled. I mean, Belichick's worst nightmare is Brady getting into the conference and him having to prepare for him.
That's true.
And Belichick and Brady showing you that he really doesn't know what he's doing. He's been riding my coattails for 20 years. And I'm just going to exploit. I mean, whatever happened to Brady and Belichick at the end, it is a cold, bitter divorce. You know what I mean? Like, it is cold.
And nobody will want that more than the NFL. Talk about pipping that matchup for 2 times a year.
Zach Taylor has to be peeking over his shoulder at that saying, we got to keep this between the lines, Joey. I love you. Whatever you need from me, man. You need me to catch the pitch. Wherever you want to put it, I got it. Yesterday, Zach Taylor on opening day with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, catching the first pitch. What a great scene as the AFC champs were recognized by the city yesterday. Reds fell, but it looked like a great day for Cincinnati as we are lining up with our guy, Jimmy Burrow, our friend of the show and has been for a while now, back with us to give us a little bit of life as a Burrow here in an offseason that has Joey going to the Super Bowl after year 2, has him the toast of the town, and now we talk to Coach Burrow here on this Wednesday morning. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Look at the setup he has here.
Aw.
Coach, can you hear us? Oh, no, Lloyd. Oh,
He
no,
didn't have
Lloyd.
the headphones in.
Oh, no, Lloyd.
He didn't have headphones in. There's nothing I can do about it.
All right, let me set up with Coach and let me put the headphones in. We'll be right back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. City Cafe online at citycafebr.net, where good friends meet. Great food and even better service. Located in the shopping center behind Rite Aid on the corner of George O'Neill and O'Neill Lane. They cater for parties, big and small. Sundays, they serve a fantastic brunch that starts at 10 a.m. They have daily lunch specials. And remember, you can look at everything online at citycafebr.net. We'll give a shout out to Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, Dirk and the crew, everybody over at City Cafe for their support here, the Jordy Culotta Show. Online, citycafebr.net. Shout out to Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart, that is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who
Coach, can
supports
you hear
us
me?
every day over here at FM Digital
I
Media.
can.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Back to a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. As we said yesterday, a great day in the state, or the great day in the city of Cincinnati, as the AFC champs were recognized by the Reds. Joey B throwing out the first pitch. Coach Zach Taylor catching it. Saw Jamar out there. Saw T. Higgins out there. Coach Burrow and Miss Robin were there. And Coach Burrow is joining us here on this Wednesday morning. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good. Getting ready to go play some golf.
Ah, the life of the
go,
Burrows,
Coach.
baby. What a
Yes.
great life it is, man. Yesterday had to be a cool day. Coach, we hadn't spoken since the Super Bowl. We spoke the week of, and obviously what an incredible time it was for the Bengals to end up there. Does life change for a quarterback in the NFL once you make that game, no matter how young or how experienced you are?
Well, I think just knowing that you and your team can get there is even more of a confidence booster for Joe and the Bengals. And then I think just seeing him in public like I did yesterday and the few times we've been out, I mean, there's this it's just crazy. I mean, if you can imagine maybe more so than even LSU, then that's Joe in the state of Ohio right now. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I can't imagine. And I was seeing they were showing them standing on the sideline yesterday of the Reds field while the kind of pregame was happening, and you could see the mob of fans over the dugout that were not paying any attention to batting practice or pitching, and they were just desperate to get his attention just by screaming frantically, Joe, Joey, Joe. I mean, I cannot imagine can he not go in public right now? Can he not go eat at a restaurant?
Not really. I mean, there's a few places in Cincinnati that, they'll get him a private room, and sometimes he and his teammates or Olivia will go there. But it's tough for him. I mean, he's always respectful to fans, and if he does go anywhere, he just knows that he has to deal with it. Yesterday, Kirk Herbstreit was sitting right. I was talking to him right on the front row there by the on deck circle, and kids were just screaming for Joe to come over and asking me if I could get him over, and Kirk just looked at me and kind of shook his head like, this is crazy. And he's seen it a lot over the years too, but it's a fun thing, really to see the love for Joe like it was in Baton Rouge, and now it's like that in Cincinnati.
Maybe an unfair question to ask to you, but does that weigh on him? How does he like that part of it?
I think it's just his personality, as you guys know, is pretty laid back until he gets on the football field. So I think that helps him deal with it. And as I said, he just chooses for the most part to not put himself in those situations. And yesterday was fun for him, and of course, he's on the field, and not a lot of people can get to him and ask for autographs and those type things. And if he is out in public and people do want pictures and autographs, as I said, he obliges those people, but a lot of times he just doesn't put himself in that position to go out.
Yeah. Great offseason for the Bengals up to this point. I mean, they have been active. They have had a plan, and everybody was saying it throughout last season. They've got to get number 9 protected if they want to be able to extend his NFL life, and they have done that. Most notably down here was La'el Collins, the former LSU standout, Baton Rouge native, spent 7 seasons with Dallas. But what has been your thoughts of this offseason with Cincinnati and what they've put together?
Yeah, I mean, the 3 offensive linemen that we got in the free agency was I think it's a good thing. Joe was involved in helping recruit those guys, kind of like college. He was at the dinners and things like that, and he knows that's important. He certainly loves his teammates from last year, so some of those will be back. And but these 3 guys are proven starters in the NFL too. I think have Super Bowl rings with the Patriots and Tampa Bay. Yeah. So not only do bring veterans in, but veterans with experience and with success.
Coach, that was interesting to read Lyell talking about the recruiting part of being a free agent and going to Cincinnati. And really, the organization did there and put their best foot forward. But really, he said that the deciding factor was going to Burrow's house, eating dinner with Joe and just sitting down and seeing his mentality. Obviously, Lyell had known him with the LSU connection, but to see him in that environment talking about, being on his offensive line, Collins said was really the difference. That seemed like a part that Joe really embraced this offseason.
Well, I think, not just Joe, but those guys that they signed, including Collins, saw the success last year. They got a lot of young players, and Joe's one of those quarterbacks that people do seem to want to play with, and that has a lot to do with his success over the years, even as far back as LSU. And I'm sure Collins had reached out to teammates of Joe's and thought it was the culture there in Cincinnati was good. And I think when the bottom line is that's where he wanted to go from the start. It just took a while, a couple of days to get the contract figured out.
We had Tyrann Mathieu in our studio 2 weeks ago, and he sat in for about an hour talking and answering all types of questions. And Joe's name came up, and he just gushed. I mean, he talked about competing against Joe, the regular season matchup in Cincinnati, and then the AFC Championship game in Arrowhead, and just talked about the respect that not only he had for him on the field, but through preparation, the stuff that he saw. He told a story about how they had thrown a coverage at him that they had played for the first time in the regular season against him in the, kind of the start of the third quarter, and they replayed that coverage 2 series later, and Joe had already made the adjustment within the game and found the open wide, and it was actually Jamar sprinting down the sideline on that long pitch and catch. But you see the respect that the veterans have. He compared him to Tom Brady. This has got to be a different level for you. I mean, getting to this point, now you're here to hear all the accolades and respect and love has got to be different, I'd imagine.
Well, when you hear things from guys like the Honey Badger and I mean I've even heard things about Joe from Tom Brady and Joe Namath and that's overwhelming and it means so much more to me as a coach to hear it from some of these players that he has played against and some of these legends that have played before Joe and as I said, it's a good young team. Joe would be the first to tell you that there's it's not just it's Joe, it's T and Tyler Boyd and Jamar and Jamar is it's crazy. He's loved in Cincinnati just as much as he was in Baton Rouge and LSU also, and we look forward to seeing those two together for a long time.
Coach, a sad story that I know affected the Burrows earlier this week with the passing of Dwayne Haskins. You could see the grief that Joe was going through on his social media post. Can you take me back to that competition in Columbus when those guys were going at it? It seemed like it was friendly yet highly competitive. That ultimately was the move that ended up sending Joe to Baton Rouge when Coach Meyer pledged to go with Haskins during that competition.
I think both of them would tell you that when you go to Ohio State, no matter what position, you better be ready to compete because there's guys ahead of you and there's guys behind you. And there was never any ill will between those two. They were friends. I think Joe posted a video of those two guys seeing each other maybe after the Pittsburgh game this year. So it was just two great players that both thought they should be the starting quarterback. And Dwayne had come in that Michigan game after Joe broke his hand and kind of moved ahead of Joe the one season JT Barrett was still there. And if you can come back in Ann Arbor and in the biggest game of the year and do what Dwayne did, then you certainly have a leg up in that competition. But both of the fierce competitors. Dwayne ended up having the best year probably of any quarterback that's ever been at Ohio State, and my understanding that he was really doing the right things as far as preparing himself for next year. And yeah, it's sad that the whole state of Ohio, like Joe at Baton Rouge, the whole state of Ohio, such big Buckeye fans. They love Dwayne, and they'll always remember what he did for the Buckeyes.
Yes, very sad, and our thoughts and prayers with his family during this time, and may he rest in peace. Coach, one of the assistants down here, new assistants, Jamar Kane, was telling some pretty cool stories about a young Joe Burrow running around as you and him shared coaching quarters together. What are your thoughts on Jamar, and are you paying any attention to any of the spring drills that are as LSU just kind of crosses the halfway point?
Yeah, I read a lot of the articles to try to get a feel of what's going on, and it just looks like they're certainly moving in the right direction. I do know Jamar from he was my first graduate assistant here at Ohio. I guess that was probably 18 years ago. Wow. He pretty much has called me every time he's ever taken a job. Probably the only one maybe to see my thoughts, and the only one that he didn't is this past one, the LSU. And I think he knew exactly what I was going to tell him, and it was kind of a no-brainer that he was going to go to LSU. But he did babysit for us. He was I didn't have to pay him that much. He was always anxious to do it, but he and Joe played video games, kind of a cool deal. And I've known Matt House for a long time, and talked to him ever so often with the Chiefs, and of course we had the two big games with the Chiefs this year, and Matt got a chance to text me back and forth a couple times, but sounds like things are going great. Yeah. I look forward to seeing what they do next season. Got
to be a proud moment for you as a coach to see your younger coaches experience success. Is it similar to watching players bud at the next level and seeing them develop? I'd imagine that the coach to coach relationship for an understudy is probably pretty tight and cool to watch develop throughout their coaching career.
Yeah, it's somebody like Jamar, very, very proud of him. He's been a successful coach. I think over the years, he certainly thanks me for things I did for him back then and now. I think he would tell you I was tough on him, but hopefully he learned a lot, and he's been successful. And we just had a get together for Coach Solich to celebrate his retirement and him being the winningest coach at Ohio University in the MAC, and to see former players there and some of the former coaches that I worked with, it gives me a lot of pride and a lot of satisfaction that there was more to it than just being a coach, because a coach can have so much direct impact on whether it's a young GA or young players, and that's kind of one of the things certainly I miss about coaching is those relationships.
Coach, I'd imagine you have a lot of LSU fans jealous of the setup that you're in right now with that room and the decoration that you have up on the wall. Is that Joe's old room that y'all turned into a little shrine?
We just got so many things. There's a whole room full downstairs. Joe has a trophy case over at his house that has a lot of the big trophies in, and we just kind of set this up. This is in our living room. I mean, we actually got a big tiger that somebody gave us that can it's got a dual personality. It can be a Bengal, or it can be an LSU tiger. So these are great memories for us. Certainly two of the more iconic pictures. They're behind me. I don't know if you can see it, but there's Tyler Shelvin right here holding Joe up after the Chiefs game.
Oh, nice.
He did it at Alabama. And those are cool things. So we're always going to remember those days. And now with the Bengals, we're going to start adding more things into this room.
You're not going to need another room. You're going to need another house at some point. I mean, the last time I talked to you, you had the Heisman Trophy and like the Davy O'Brien like sitting at your feet in the living room. So it's good to hear that Joe has now found a case for those.
Yeah, those are in lock and key over there. So, but it's a cool trophy case. If if you guys, hopefully you'll bring your show maybe to Cincinnati one of these days, and we'll show you that room. It's pretty impressive.
Jimmy, we're checking flights right
Is
now.
that an invitation?
You send dates, buddy. We'll be there. I'm already calling Danny.
We'll have a tailgate, and we'll show you the town.
Oh my
We
gosh.
can't wait.
That is absolutely on the docket.
Coach, it's great to see you. What's the weather like up in Cincinnati? Or I guess you're back in Athens today for your round.
Well, it's going to be 65 or so.
Oh,
it's not
God.
Baton Rouge, beautiful weather, but we're going to try to get a round in before it rains. We've had a lot of rain around here, so of course it'll be wet, but again, it beats a day in the office.
Absolutely, Coach. We made a lot of Joe Burrow kind of reacting to his loss in the high school state championship. Obviously, you being his father year-round, I imagine, spoke to him after the Super Bowl loss. How was he able to kind of handle that and compartmentalize going forward into his third year in Cincinnati?
Well, he hangs on to those losses, and I think it's something that he remembers, and maybe it's just another thing to motivate him. I think the state championship in high school that we came out on the losing end, that motivated him to want to go to a place like Ohio State, to go to LSU to try to win a national championship, and he knows that. We were very close. He was very close in this last game, and it'll just be part of the fuel that really fires him up for this next season and beyond, because that's his ultimate goal. He really has never cared about individual accomplishments. He knows they're going to come with success, just like LSU, and his one goal is to win the Super Bowl, and he's working hard to get to that point again.
Did you watch the Masters?
Oh yeah, I watched. It's cool. That's kind of on my bucket list, maybe to try to get down there one of these days. We all love Tiger being there, and just the competitor there he is a lesson for really all athletes, and it was fun to watch.
Tell Robin and the crew hello, Coach. Hit them straight today. We'll talk again soon. Thank you for your time this morning.
All right, go Tigers and go Bengals.
All day.
Thanks
Yes,
a lot
sir.
for having me on.
Who day?
Yes, sir.
See you
There he
guys.
is. There he is, Coach Jimmy Burrow, checking in from Athens this morning, as gives us the latest on Joe yesterday throwing out the first pitch in Cincinnati, kind of the toast of the town as we expected. Tough for him to get a meal, I'd imagine, sit down and enjoy anything right now.
You can't even get him through the door.
No way, man.
I can't wait to go to Cincinnati.
I know.
We just got the invite.
That was totally
legit.
totally
And we gotta
legitimate.
go to Joe's house to view the
like,
trophy case.
forget the show. We ain't bringing the show. We're going. You know what I mean? Like,
Take another Friday
we
off.
get we get some
What if we
content.
did? What if we tailgated there and did a show?
I mean, we just get content there. Forget the show.
Yeah, they would be
man.
like,
my
who the hell
gosh.
are these people on the Jordy Culotta
cares?
show? Yeah, that's true, too. Now we're just going.
Right.
We're brought to you by RMB Builders. Check out our friends over at RMB online at rmb-builders.com. That is Rhett Bourgeois and his crew, rmb-builders.com. Remember, RMB brings back all of our podcasts, so if you missed that conversation with Jimmy Burrow, you can catch it on our podcast form, wherever you get your podcast. You can get it Spotify, Amazon, Apple, anywhere, and all of that is compliments of our friends at RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com, rmb-builders.com. Rhett Bourgeois, custom design home. You need a remodel. You need any work done around the house. If you've got a job in the commercial world, he's commercially licensed, so he can help you out. Get in touch with Rhett. Doing beautiful work, man. rmb-builders.com.
We haven't talked about his handy jobs in a
Is
while.
where,
No.
well, everybody's happy.
Full
Another
service.
satisfied customer. Maybe I don't want to tell you about Rhett's secret. rmb-builders.com. You know the promo code.
Is it handy job?
Yeah.
That's what it needs
Yeah.
to be.
Handy jobs on the Jordy Culotta show. That's where you heard it from.
Go to the
I
back
like
room.
those calls. Hopefully you can get some reaction there.
Poor Rhett.
Guy's skilled
Skilled.
worker.
He is.
Good with his hands.
Good with his hands. Like Jesus the Carpenter.
We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. City Cafe online at citycafebr.net, where good friends meet. Great food and even better service. Located in the shopping center behind Rite Aid on the corner of George O'Neill and O'Neill Lane. They cater for parties, big and small. Sundays, they serve a fantastic brunch that starts at 10 a.m. They have daily lunch specials. And remember, you can look at everything online at citycafebr.net. We'll give a shout-out to Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, Dirk and the crew, everybody over at City Cafe for their support here, the Jordy Culotta Show, online, citycafebr.net. Shout out to Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go-Mart. It is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
Hey y'all, it's Mikey from Mic'd Up. Catch us live every Monday and Wednesday, 11 to 1. Talk gambling, talk sports, have a ton of guests in here, get a little perspective from the athlete side of it. We got Lloyd in the house, Jay Mitch is in here a lot of the time. It's a fun show, great show. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you don't like it, it's fine. Make fun of us, it's okay. Just get us out there, share us out there. We having fun, we want to share our fun with you. Like I said, Mic'd Up, brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Every Monday through Wednesday, 11 to 1. Catch us live on YouTube, baby. See y'all.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet here on this Wednesday. Shout out to Coach Burrow for stopping in here, and shout out to the video calls. Looked fantastic.
Back on the winning side.
Yes.
Great job.
A little scared.
Stewie, great job, Noah.
They wanted you to wear your headphones.
Thank you. We appreciate
Good job, boys. Good job, boys. Hold down the fort.
Y'all crushed it on that video calls, boys.
Been grinding up here late night.
Lloyd, I don't know what happened on that first go-around, but you better fix it.
That's why I had to call them the big guns, dude.
But great stuff from Coach Burrow this morning. We appreciate him stopping by. Shout out to our friend Tommy Granny over at Go-Mart on Highway 61 over there in Natchez, Mississippi, setting us up. We're going to be off on Friday, taking off on Friday. No shows for you. Enjoy the long weekend. We'll give the crew off here. I'm heading to Nashville
Oh,
for the weekend. Just on a whim, Coach.
just to go?
Got no kids, got no Easter
job.
plans.
Our pets' heads are falling
What
off.
are you gonna do here? It's Friday.
It's Friday. You
got
ain't got
no-
shit to do. You ain't got no job.
Yeah, right. But yeah, we're gonna head to Nashville for the weekend and enjoy Easter on a different setting in a cool town. Go experience it, and
Y'all gonna
Get
take
back
an
here.
Easter Sunday service up there?
taking a little Easter Sunday service.
Pack your pastels.
That's right. Fresh colors.
Yes.
White bucks.
Kid Rock has a hell of a bar up there. I'm sure he'll do a Sunday service.
Oh, does he really?
In Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
What's the
that
name of it?
guy.
Kid Rock. It's like the Kid Rock bar.
That's the name of the bar?
It sounds like a tourist trap.
It
Coach.
well, 100% is.
He's
There-
a tourist trap.
There's but all like down the strip, they have a bunch of country music. Like, what are they called? I guess singers that have like themed
What
bars
are they
there.
called? Singers?
Performers. I don't know.
People?
Yeah, barely.
Right.
But Nashville is a hell of a time.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
Last time I went was 2006 for the SEC basketball tournament. That's where it was with like Glenn and Tyrus and that team. And we went like with the team. So like we just went from the hotel. We worked out at Vanderbilt, and then like you would eat, around town during the week. But I mean, there was
You didn't
nothing.
get to enjoy it.
Yeah, there was no
Big scooter city to get around. Everybody, you can like rent them. Like you
Okay.
put like your little
Looks a little
debit card
cold.
in. Probably
It
it's
will
going to be
be
cold.
cold.
But you can zip around town if that's what you want to do. Instead of getting in a car, you can get one of those things and you can put them back into. They have like the charging ports all over town. So whenever you're done with it, just park it and grab another one. It's like the
It's like
city
the
go
LSU
bike in
football
New
team
York.
in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game day, baby.
Game day.
Jumped on the scooters in LA. Pretty nice vibe.
Okay.
It was like 2:00 in the morning after I went to a
Wow.
club on a Friday night.
Oh, you got the
Jumped on the
two-person
scooter.
Got on the
two-person
scooter?
scooter?
Yeah, rode
That's
around
awesome.
Hollywood Boulevard.
That's awesome.
It was like, what's up?
Is that Brian Thomas?
Is
No, it's Stewie.
is that Coach O?
Carlos Stewie. Carlos Stewie. Speaking of Coach O,
He's a coach again.
this guy.
Notre Dame head coach.
I mean,
Can't give it up.
he's got to be. That's got to be some type of contract clause that he's flirting with, messing with. I mean, like,
But what's he
there's
really doing?
What was he really doing?
Well, I
It's a
mean-
great question.
attention.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just,
This
like a
is attention.
jab.
Attention tour.
Yeah.
I mean, this is spring football's going on. There's no place. There's no levee for me to jog on.
He found one, I'm sure.
I've already taken my shirt off at spring break with the kids a couple of weeks back. You've seen that I'm still doing my same routine. He looked great.
Looks great.
Looks great. I've been down to Miami.
That's where I thought he was going to stick. I think he's
Me
going to
too.
end up
I mean,
there after a
Notre
year off.
Dame was such a. I didn't have him at Notre Dame next.
Not his vibe.
Not from Miami. I mean,
No.
I could have seen USC. I could even have seen like UCLA, Oregon, West Coast. You know what I mean? But to put O in the middle of the planet,
Touchdown Jesus.
middle of America,
Yes.
in freaking South Bend, Indiana, giving the rah rah. And by the
One
way,
for the Gipper.
what's the message there? I mean, like, I don't know when. I look around this room. I don't know when. But at some point, y'all gonna win a championship. Thank you, Coach. You know what I mean? Like, cool. I mean, that's why we're showing up every day. I'm glad to see you're just gonna confirm that. And he gives it to you like it's like this like groundbreaking information. You know, like he gives you that.
Newt Rockney.
Did they invite him there for this? Like, was he invited for this? He had to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's not just walking in.
No,
So,
no.
like, what's
Do you
the
think
end
it was
game?
like a Notre Dame shot at Kelly
It
more
seems
than an
like
O
it.
shot at LSU?
Yeah.
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 Because didn't
I mean,
Brian Kelly just rip into Notre Dame? So was this just like backlash?
people said that he ripped into Notre Dame. I thought that he was really fair on just where he was. I mean, he had hit the ceiling at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, for all of what Notre Dame has to recruit against, you know, being in the middle of America, having no players really around you, being in a cold, dark,
Destitute.
weird place. I mean, I've been to South Bend, and it is shocking that they have winning football teams there. I mean, it is. I mean, and I know Baton Rouge is not, I mean, you know, it's not an island, but I mean, it ain't South Bend. And some of the stuff that they've got to, not just the town, no players, the recruiting demographic around you, but the academics. I mean, like, you know, I mean, one thing that Brian Kelly and his crew have to be looking around and saying is like, well, I mean, you don't have to have a 30 on the ACT to get them in. You know what I mean? Like, wow. I mean, it's a whole new crew of people that you're recruiting. And to see what he's built under those circumstances, in that place, at that school. And look, Notre Dame's got the long history, and you can win there by all means. But I mean, Brian Kelly, for what he accomplished there, I think if you would have presented that to a Notre Dame fan 10 years ago and said, look, you make a BCS title game, you'll make a couple of college football playoffs, you'll be in the discussion to make a couple of college football playoffs, you'll put out good players into the league, you'll recruit at a high level. You're not going to win a championship, but you'll be in the discussion. 10 years ago, I'd imagine that the majority of the Notre Dame fan base would have said, sign me up. You mean we can be relevant again? And he's made them a consistent, relevant player. And LSU's won national championships with 3 coaches in the last 20 years. I mean, it's a different animal. It's a place that if you're a football coach and you haven't kicked the door down to win championships, it gives you an opportunity to do that really quick. Doesn't matter how much disarray you're in. Think back to 2017. How screwed up was the football program in 2017? Where the AD is meeting and watching film with the defensive coordinator and the head coach. The head coach is mother. He's MFing everybody on the headset. Doesn't trust anybody. 2 years later, you're national champs, maybe the best team of all time. So it can happen quickly here. But if Brian Kelly if that's perceived what he said to the AP of taking shots, just like, look, man, it was time for a change. We got good relationships there. I mean, it wasn't anything like I'm torching the place on the way out. And I think for Notre Dame's standpoint, to bring Ogeron up there and think that it's going to ruffle kind of ruffle LSU's football feathers, you're kind of like, I mean, you might be doing us a solid by him breaking his contract, and we may be off the hook for the money. I mean, like, go Irish. You know what I mean?
Could you imagine him going there and like not knowing about the recruiting, standards there, and him be like, "Wait, what the hell are y'all doing? What do you have to do? What now?" Him trying to change people's ACT scores, move some numbers around. It's like, this is not the way to do it. Like, you have to be able to, get the guys that you want to get in, because you've heard the story of him trying to move Adrian Peterson's dad from one prison to another to be able to get him at USC, was it? And now him having to go to, I know he's not going to coach at Notre Dame, but just him realizing that there's places are like, nobody's on an equal playing field, and for him to go to Notre Dame and be like, oh, y'all are making this extremely hard on yourselves. Like, and he's the recruiting guru. He's like, nobody can win up here.
Yeah, right.
But he gave Marcus Freeman a good hat tip. He said, obviously he tried to hire him to come to LSU,
Sure.
and he was looking around, like, obviously made the right decision. He's like, well, that's on you, Coach O.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't want to work with you.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, Marcus Freeman's wife shut that down.
Well, could you imagine where he would be?
Yeah.
He'd be pissing in the wind, because I don't know if he would have stuck around as the defensive coordinator, because obviously Brian Kelly would have wanted to bring in his own people. But that would have been a disaster for him, like, professionally. He had to restart somewhere. Instead, he's the head coach at Notre Dame.
I really and truly, I kind of felt bad for him. Like, to a degree, like, it was like, what are you doing?
I think he's just built into his habits. Like, all right, I did my running, I did my vacation with my shirt off. Like, this is the timeline for Coach O. Now, in his brain, it's like, well, it's football time. What do I have to go to? I have to go football. Right. And he has nobody to give football to.
Like, God, dude, go to Hawaii.
He can't.
Get out of here.
He can't.
Got millions in the bank, man. Go hang out on a beach.
He's a football.
Yeah,
It's
but I mean,
football
football's
time.
not with you right now.
It
You know what I mean? Like, you're either gonna jump in, quit flirting with football, man.
She
You
don't
look
want- she
desperate.
don't like you.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, you look like you're hanging outside the bar, like waiting on him to come out. Like, can I come in and speak? Yeah, come on in. What do you want to say? Like, I don't know when, but this looks like a championship group. Like,
Is that
thanks,
it?
coach. Like, I mean, why? Why? I mean, it's just.
Interesting.
It is very
interesting.
interesting. Just,
I mean, there's no doubt he goes at some point. He'll be back at Miami. I thought it might have been this year, but I think they say he's going to take the year off. And so I'd imagine if it's
They say that about a lot of people.
Tom retired, Sean,
Sean?
but
He'll be in Dallas before we know it.
yeah, that has to stink for you, Sean
Yeah,
Payton.
that does
No
have to
longer going to
stink.
Dallas. He's going to Miami.
That does. Let's just say we're going to Dallas. Everybody will believe that. Like, yeah. I think Peyton's stepping away to go to Dallas. He's on Stephen Ross's yacht, you morons.
Okay.
They're giving him equity in the Dolphins.
Katie
Jerry
loves-
would never part with equity.
I can't
No
wait
way.
to see Sean and Honey Badger at Dallas.
No
Katie,
way.
you love pushing people to Dallas, right?
She loves Dak.
I know, I get
Oh.
it, but like Dallas is nobody wants to
I
play
liked
for Jerry
Dallas
Jones.
before Dak, but I
He
hear
salts
y'all.
every
I
bite of his
understand y'all
food.
hate Dallas. for
Strange,
reasons I
strange
don't
old white
understand.
man.
I
Sorry.
guess it's the Saints is why y'all hate Dallas. I don't know.
Why?
I don't even think about Dallas.
me
Yeah, I don't
I-
either.
What?
the
Then
reason
why are
I-
y'all so awful about it?
Because
Like,
they
you
just-
say that about
it-
Mississippi
it's
State too. Like, who
Dallas
cares about them
fans.
and y'all hate so much? Like, if you didn't care, you wouldn't hate.
Yeah, but I don't hate.
I don't hate.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
There's
There's
just
no
no
I
hate.
feel like we
threat.
need to rewind the show
There's
from the past year.
Dallas
and
is
play
no
clips.
threat. Like,
Okay.
I
Like Mississippi State is no threat.
no threat.
No threat.
Really?
I mean,
Beat the
Like,
dog out
are
of him
you
when we
sure?
Your
stunk.
I don't
coach has
mean-
12 plays,
I don't
Katie.
mean this past weekend. I mean other sports.
He puts
other
his play
games.
sheet on an index card.
Yeah, it loses it.
Right. He's like, we're gonna run this. That's it.
Okay.
no, I love the football coach,
But no threat.
but no threat.
We beat y'all last year.
No,
no,
dude,
2 years ago.
2 years ago, whatever.
Right.
We were the first team to beat y'all in Tiger Stadium in like 20 years.
Give Brendan Harris
come
one more
on,
series.
twice.
and see
Head
what
coach
happens.
was jogging naked down levees and beaches, worried about everything but football.
No, I'm talking about 2014, that first time.
Oh, you talking about Dak?
That was 2015.
Yeah.
15, yeah.
No, that wasn't 15.
It was 15.
No.
I
No,
don't know.
yeah, it was 14.
It was Brandon
Sorry.
Harris.
Sorry,
They
yeah,
talk
it was
about
14.
two quarterback system. Anthony Jennings, Brandon Harris. Watch out.
Ugh.
Pick your poison. LSU fans.
Pick your poison
our
for
own
real.
poison.
Kill me now.
Kill me now. Oh, no. You have to watch.
Brandon Harris, Danny Etling.
Oh. Get the rumors going.
Let's see. Somebody had a question
But
here.
Dallas
Torque-
Oilers and Dallas bothers me because they're on TV too much. Like, I don't want to
Well,
watch
the
them
brand
play every
sells,
Sunday.
bro. The brand, I
Because they
mean,
stink.
the brand
Y'all
sells.
don't like watching Elliott and Dak.
No,
and Diggs.
Elliott's not
like,
good.
Y'all don't like
Yeah, he's
Zeke is
done.
washed.
He's done.
Tony
Yeah.
Pollard's
Oh,
better.
y'all. Come
Yeah.
on.
He got
Torque
too much
Lewis,
money.
Jordy, gun to your head. Les Miles or Ogeron for the next decade.
Oh,
God.
God.
Shoot yourself at that point? Or?
Yeah, pull the trigger.
Absolutely.
No,
been a
for
good
real.
one.
Who would it be if you had
O.
to?
I would pick O.
Me too.
Yeah, I'd take
Yeah.
I
over.
would too. I would too.
Jeez.
At least he tried to change the
But
offense
10
less.
years.
Jeez.
Oh.
10 years, bro.
That's a long time.
How long
I mean,
did Les
like-
coach?
11.
Oh.
But a decade of O.
Let's
This
see-
place would
let's-
be in the. I mean, it'd be at the bottom of the ocean.
He literally burned it down.
I mean, he would have burned it down for sure.
We'd have a great defensive line, though.
Great.
no doubt.
Like one thing we talked about yesterday going into practice, like before he left, he did build up that D line.
He said he
Quincy,
I don't know when.
Smith, like he has some dogs there, but it's just that's it.
BJ.
Defensive lineman.
Poor guy.
Yeah, both what? BJ.
Put it on the
O'Leary
poll.
And that's a great question.
That is a
That
great
is.
poll question. I mean, if you have your choice to head coach LSU for the next decade,
no choice.
you got Ogeron or Miles or the Cliff. Who you going? You jumping or you got O or Miles? Good Lord. Mike Jones is going to be here in a couple of segments or a couple of minutes here. Let's get to a mailbag. We have any mailbag questions? Any mailbag questions come through?
I don't think we have any. No, nobody wants to talk to us.
That's us. That's on us. That is on us. If you have mailbag questions, use the hashtag mailbag. We'll get them read and answered here. Get them in first. We need some questions. If you have a question, shoot
Well, I
them
think that
across
was
right
one
now.
question.
What's
O
that?
or less.
Yeah, that's one.
So there you go.
That's one.
George the Greek does have one mailbag question.
Hit me.
It said, Jordy, any chance you can get Will Wade on the show?
We could, but Wade's not speaking. He's not going to speak until he gets his hearing in front of the NCAA. Wade's biggest concern, and it would be mine if I was in his position, is if he can get a fair hearing. And I think anything before that would not suit him best to speak publicly. He would love to. And I think that, he's definitely got a story to tell, and at some point he'll tell that story, but I don't think he can tell it before he goes in front of the committee, or at least he's being advised by his counsel.
I bet.
Not to speak.
And that's in June, right? Doesn't that start in June?
They don't know.
Okay.
They don't know. I mean, look at the process.
Yeah.
Look at where they are. Shout out to our guy Mike Domingue, who is a listener of our show. Our guy Brian Dryden, who is our video producer, one of our video producers over here at FM Digital Media. Friends with our guy Mike Domingue, who is a listener to the show. Any more mailbag questions?
Brian Burgess, when are you guys going to invite Delgado to show his face in the noodle?
We've already invited him.
We have done that, Brian.
Yeah, multiple times.
I know that you were new to the show, that we have just swayed you over from the other guys as you were a loyalist over there, but now we see you coming over here each morning and spreading your thoughts. But we have invited Rico into the chat. We have invited Rico into a video call. We have invited Rico, if it takes him coming to the noodle, we'd love to see him. If we can
6'4"
see
of
him. Little guy. But he's got an open invite. He's too scared to show up. He's too scared to show up to the video chat. He talks a huge game. Keyboard warrior.
keyboard
Rico
warrior.
Delgado, 1 seed. The absolute 6'4" behind the keyboard, and then you meet him
Just
and you're
flip
like,
it around.
"Oh,
4'6"
you're the guy
in
that
real
talks
life.
shit all the time."
Yeah.
There comes Mike Jones down
Why
the
did I
side of the
care?
building, by the way.
Oh, nice.
All right, let's get him in the studio here as we will talk LSU spring football with our guy Mike Jones coming up here next on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Southern Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out, southerneyecenters.com, and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway. All right, welcome back here. Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that. Stick around. Mikey Matuk will be here from Mic'd Up from 11 to 1 o'clock here on the FM Digital Network. If you have not subscribed to Mikey's show and gotten onto his social media, make sure you hit him up there. No shows Friday. Make sure that you are planning on that. We will have no content coming out on Friday. We will have our Foodie Friday segment for you tomorrow here on the Jordy Culotta Show, and it's our pleasure to welcome back in to the studio our guy who's having a fantastic spring. Ended last season on a heater, as he was one of the most talked about players at LSU. They inserted him in Alabama. The defense looked very different when he was on the field, and now having a really good spring is our guy, Mike Jones, linebacker for LSU, in studio with us. Mikey, good morning. How are you, bro?
Good morning. Good morning. What's good?
It's good to see you, man. It's
good
to see you. Last time we talked, you were going into spring. You were getting prepared for spring. Now you're just past the halfway point, learning a new defense with new coaches. You got new guys around you. How's it been?
Man, it's been great. One thing that I was excited for coming into the spring was the challenge of learning everything new. I had heard about Coach House before and heard he was a very demanding guy, and I felt like that was something I needed. And so it's been great to step up to the challenge myself, watch the whole defense step up to the challenge, watch guys not necessarily have to grow up, but they do somewhat have to grow up, man. It's been a lot of growth around the whole defense as a whole, man. It's just been fun to watch and go out there and compete.
People ask us all the time from the media standpoint, what's different? What do you see? Well, from our standpoint, it just looks like things are tighter. Things are more structured. When you guys move, it looks like you move with a purpose. From a football standpoint, I can't tell anybody anything because I don't know what's going into the scheme, the calls, and what really was the difference between last year and this year. If I was to ask you that, somebody who has experienced it now under Kelly and was here last season, what's the biggest change?
I would probably say, I would say it is somewhat more tighter. One thing that's kind of different about this defense that is different from any other defense I've been in is like the communication on all aspects of the field, has to be, top notch at all times, or guys are not going to be able to get their job done. So whether that's me communicating, to the D-line or the safeties, sometimes I even have to communicate with the corners or the Will had to, communicate with his side of the line. The safeties, they have to have their own communication too. It's so much talking, but when you're able to communicate like that and everybody knows exactly what they're getting, because you're going to hear, what guys are seeing, what guys are expecting to do, what guys are anticipating. you're on the same page. Everybody's on the same page. And if it's like to the point, like, even if everybody's wrong, we're all right.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been different. I would say that's probably been the most like different thing I've seen and experiencing, and even at my time at Clemson, like, we still didn't communicate as much. You just like, the mic makes a call, or the coach will send in a call and we just run the call. Heck no. We have, we can make our choices within our defense too. If we feel like playing this, if we see this and we think, maybe we should, zone it off rather than playing like a man, we can make that call. The coach gives us the choice, but we just all have to be on the same page and we all have to be communicating at the highest level.
Do you like that? Do you want that responsibility in game to have to shed so much leadership, so much responsibility during the game? Do you want that? It seems like you're that player. You're that guy that can you can handle that. Do you accept that?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I feel like when you think of like a traditional Mike linebacker, he's just the guy that, just has to make the call. It has to be that guy. And I have no problem doing it. I feel like I've played a lot of different roles throughout my time in college football. And it's just like now it's like, the perfect time, I feel like, at least in my mind. It's just been easy for me to communicate with guys, and, we're all kind of, I feel like as a defense, we're pretty much on the same page. I don't have to really go out my way to, try to tell this dude or this dude that. It's kind of like it's almost becoming natural. Like you get guys looking at you at like the perfect time. Like we see this, I look back, will give you the call. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to stay back here, turn around, try and get your attention. Everything's kind of just like, I feel like just molding together. And so, I would say I definitely, accept the challenge.
Were you at Clemson when they had the 2 defensive linemen drafted in the first round?
Mm-hmm.
So where does this group stack up to some of the defensive lines that you've played behind? Because you played behind great defensive lines at linebacker, and I know that frees you guys up to see it and run and be able to make plays. This group feels like they are filled with pros, that they've got multiple pros on the front. How do you feel about the guys playing in front of you?
Oh, man, them dudes are all great. And, so I was able to watch those guys at Clemson. And, one thing about them that I see, with our guys too, is those dudes, they never had a day when they were down.
Mm-hmm.
Even the whole D-line, because like all them guys got drafted that year at Clemson. But it's like every day they just kept playing to that level. And I can tell that with our guys too. They never really drop below the standard. And of course you have plays where that happens, But I feel like the majority of the time they whipping somebody,
right?
And it makes my life easier. And so that consistency, man, I that's one of the things I think makes a great defensive lineman, at least from my side, because if I know he's always going to do that job, and I know that lineman is not going to be able to get up on me that fast because he's going to always do his job. That just like it adds so much trust, you know what I'm saying? And now
Absolutely.
It frees me up, and now I know how he's gonna play this, so I can put myself in a position to make the block get off of him faster, come to me faster, and he can go make the play. Yeah, man. No, super talented group though. Super talented. Only thing I can say now is we just got to see how we play.
You gotta line it up.
Yeah, that's it.
House is your position coach, defensive coordinator. Matt House comes from Kansas City, coached the linebackers there. Tell me about him, what he brings to coaching your individual position, and then tell me about your room. I think linebacker was one of those positions when you left the bowl, you were like, damn, behind Mike and a couple of Baskerville, if he comes back, I don't know who the rotation is going to be. That turns out like y'all got dudes now, and then you got Perkins coming in.
Yeah.
Tell me about the room and then House coaching you individually.
Yeah, super talented room, man. Great guys, everybody, man. All of us, I feel like we're all super coachable. We're all super hungry. And I feel like that meshes perfectly with Coach House. Like I say, he's not very demanding on another level. I know if he heard that, he'd be like, what do you mean? But, he just expects a lot. And, we got the perfect group for that, man. Like you said, Micah, a seasoned veteran, always going to be in the right place at the right time because, guys like me and we've been doing this for a long time. Greg Penn, the youngin' that stepped up, man. I've just watched him grow and mature, and it's like crazy watching. I'm like, now, hey, like even though I look at myself, I think about myself, and I'm like, I don't know if I was really that ready my second year. You know, I got thrown into some games. If I had put me in against LSU, would not have been ready, But, I still wasn't sure. And I look at Greg, and I'm like, I'd be comfortable if he was in there. We were in there in the game. You know what I'm saying? I believe
That's a hell of a
he'd do his
compliment.
job. Yeah, absolutely, man. He has done a great job, man. And he's just, he's accepted everything that he hasn't folded on nothing. He's taken every challenge, head on.
Yeah.
And I think that's tough for a young guy. I used to be nervous out there.
Sure.
Bad.
Right.
And we got transfers, Wes and Kobian. Both of them dudes, man, great dudes, smart players, very athletic. Wes is bigger and stronger. He's more the Mike body, and he's fast. He's really fast. I don't know if he's faster than me. that might be a little competition, you know what I'm saying? He's probably my biggest threat for speed in the linebacker room. But yeah, man, great guys, man. Super coachable. Like everybody in our linebacker room has like a desire to learn, and it meshes perfectly with Coach House. We got DeMario. He's another young boy. I look at DeMario, I'm like, dang, boy, you remind me of a young Mike Jones.
Got that swag.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And he moves so well, man, and just like with the other guys, man, just wants to learn.
What do you expect from Perkins when he comes in? What do you remember about his recruitment and what type of play? Because, he's another one where athletic as hell like you are and can run in space.
Yeah. If we're talking about expectations, better be fast. You're a 5-star. I hope you come in. I need a challenge for who's the fastest in the locker room, in the linebacker room. So yeah, man. But it just, be who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, of course, when you get to college, those stars don't matter. But being a 5-star, you at least gonna have some attention. God gonna be looking to see what you do. If I would say anything to him, man, just come in ready to learn and. Don't stress it, man. Just go out there and, if he can just come in and play ball, man, all that stuff takes care of itself.
Everybody's talking about the quarterback competition. Everybody is talking about some of the new faces on offense. From your point of view, a leader on the team and somebody that's going against that crew every day, what are you seeing from that side of the ball? What does it look like on offense? I know John Emery's making plays at running back, and the quarterback competition looks very healthy.
Yeah, man. Oh, man, it is. It's been very interesting to watch, and it's even to the point when I'm on the field, and of course this isn't good because you need to know your personnel, who you're playing against. I can't tell, which quarterback I'm playing against. They're all playing at such high levels.
Wow.
I'm like, dang, we going at it every day, and I'll be like, oh, when they switch quarterback, when they put him in, he been doing the same thing. But yeah, man, it's been super competitive, man, and I feel like this is exactly what our team needed, man, and. Everybody's coming to work every day.
Yeah.
It's very, very competitive, man, and I love it, man. I love it. Like I said, man, just everybody's going at it. I feel like everybody's playing, at just such a high level. I couldn't even. I don't even know. All I know is when Mike Jones get on that field, I'm in the mindset that I have to bring it because these dudes are. You know what I'm saying? I got to bring in, in the game mindset because these dudes they're playing well. You know what I'm saying? We got to go win. You know what I'm saying? It's not nothing we're just going to roll over the offense. No, they're bringing theirs, so we really got to bring ours too every day.
What have you seen from Quincy Wiggins, the youngin? It looks like he's going to be tough to keep off the field on a very talented group.
Yeah. Quincy is a freak of nature. He's actually in my little stretch line, and so I try to say it every time he runs by, I'd be like, Quincy, you freaking freak. Every day I try to say that. Yeah, man. Oh, he's gonna be a monster.
Tell me about the SWAT teams and the leadership stuff that you got to be ahead of one of these things.
Yeah.
So tell me about your team, how it operates, and the accountability that it's kind of naturally building within the locker room.
Yeah. So with the accountability team, the SWAT teams, we got together. They chose some of our leaders. And we had a meeting with Coach Kelly, talked about leadership and, some of the goals with being a leader. And then, all that kind of carried over into the weight room. And so with all the little things that we did within the weight room, they I guess adapted those into it. And so, checking in before your workouts, eating your vitamins, weighing out, all the little things. We do a little wellness quiz too. Every day just to check up on your body, check on your mental, all that too. All that stuff is taken in every day. And like if I don't do my wellness quiz, everybody's gonna know. You know what I'm saying? They have a board and they literally keep a board up of everybody who's done it and when they got it done. It's got to be done by noon.
Yeah.
You know, and so like it really does keep everybody accountable. You know, because like everything's out there for everybody to see. And so we have teams too. Like so with our teams, we have team competition.
Uh-huh.
And so like it's kind of like different things. But I know the winning team with the most points, they get to wear a gold shirt during workouts for the week.
Nice.
My team's coming for ours. We ain't happy yet, but we coming. And then like the last team, like they have like some punishment. Usually it's not nothing like crazy,
Sure.
but
Standing out.
Yeah.
People know who you are.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
when everybody goes in from lift on one of these days, you're gonna be the only team out there.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, because we asked Besh, we said, what's the motivation? He said, not to finish 10th.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I tell my team
Just
as
not to
long as we
finish
don't lose.
Right.
Yeah, man. But yeah, just the competition, man. I feel like it has really brought everybody together. Like I said, I go to my team and I'll be like, listen, like, of course we want to win, but we for sure can't lose. We for sure can't lose.
Right.
And so it's brought a little competition between the locker room, you know.
Love that.
And it's just brought all the guys together, man. I can even say for myself, and like I, you know, this is my 5th year.
Uh-huh.
You know, my habits were probably created like at the end. Like I've probably been the same guy since like the end of my freshman year.
Right.
In all my college, I never took my vitamins consistently. Now I do.
Wow.
You know, and that may seem like a little thing.
Yeah, but it's a win.
Exactly.
That's a win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and at first when they started doing this, I was like, dang, this is kind of a little extra, you know. But I'm doing my stuff now.
Uh-huh.
So I get it. You know, I thought it was extra, but I'd never taken them before, and I take them every day.
Wow, what a testimony
Yeah.
from one of your top players talking about the habits that are being built from a leadership standpoint, and that's kind of trickling down throughout the locker room. Tyrann Mathieu spent an hour here with us on this set, man. He was open and honest about everything. It was a really cool time for our show and an interview. And then I saw him speak to the team, and they showed like a 5-minute snippet of him addressing you guys. How powerful was that moment from you sitting in that seat, watching down, listening to him to speak as, you know, somebody who's a face of LSU football now? What's the respect level there, and what'd you take from the message?
Man, that was something I'll never forget. Personally, I done had some great guest speakers, you know, especially like playoff games at Clemson. They always brought in somebody crazy.
Yeah.
Like I even had Ray Lewis. We had Brett Favre one time.
Wow.
I think Tyrann, what he said spoke to me, you know, more than like anything, any other speech or, you know, talk I've ever had, just because like his mindset, you know, behind everything plays into so much about like where I'm at right now, you know, just like the way you go throughout, you know, your everyday, like and I watch guys and I like, you know, think like, dang, like, do these guys like think about making plays? Are they trying to do too much when they're on the field? He said this man just does his job. And I'm like, you know what? That like resonates so much with me because like I've gotten in trouble in games when I was trying to do too much, you know what I'm saying? And I realized like you really, if you go do your job, if you go execute, you know, all that stuff will take care of itself. Like, I've had to learn so much, but hearing him, it was like validation on that, you know, just do your job. Hearing him talk about Coach House and, you know, the way that they studied in the league and how important that stuff was, man, that was like, I'm sitting there thinking like, it would be a waste of my time of all these opportunities if I don't try to get every bit of information I can out this man. If the best of the best do it, and I'm trying to get there, shame on me if I don't go the extra mile to try to get something extra. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? How can I say I want to achieve this if I don't even do what they do when I got the opportunity to get something from them right in front of me? It really spoke to me on a whole bunch of levels, man, and I know it did the whole team, and super glad that he came and spoke to our teams, man, and it's just reshaped my mind and just the way I try to go through my everyday.
How good of a coach would he be?
Oh, great coach.
Huh?
Great coach. I wouldn't be fair to recruit against. If I got a call from a school and it was Tyrann Mathieu, I would be going to LSU.
That's right, man. What was Ray Lewis like as a speaker?
Oh man,
Because they're both they go
Reverend
off of passion,
yeah,
right? They go off of emotion,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right?
Oh man, passion as hell.
Yeah.
Passion as hell. We actually ended up. I'm pretty sure this was my second time in New Orleans, the Ohio State game that
Okay.
we lost last time.
Okay.
Ray Lewis had me think we was finna go in there and whoop them. I was like, oh, yeah, we about to put the hammer on this boy.
Tonight.
We was ready to play then. But yeah, man, super passionate. Oh my gosh, like had me on the edge of my seat, like literally ready to go run through a wall listening to him.
What is the difference between these upper elite football programs? You've played at two of them, Clemson and LSU. I'd imagine you get this question a lot. What's the difference between Clemson? But like when you're at the elite level of college football, I'd imagine that a lot of it's the same. But what is the differences? You know what I mean? Like they all have nutrition centers. They all have state-of-the-art weight rooms. You all have locker rooms. You all have this crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
Top-of-the-line gear. But what kind of separates even the elite, the top of the top?
I'm
top
not going to
1%.
lie, man. I have thought about this a lot, and I don't think there is a difference. If you look at our program now, and as they were changing things, like when Coach Kelly really took
LSU
over,
needed the change to get there, though. And I don't want to put you in a bad spot, but the change puts them at the elite level.
I'm not. If we're being honest here, and I'm just saying off of the things I thought, as things were changing, I was like, okay, this reminds me a lot of Clemson, and I was like, I guess just the best programs are all ran the same way. That's what I thought to myself. And I'm not saying things were wrong. They won a national championship in 2019.
Absolutely.
Right.
But it felt familiar.
Yeah, it felt familiar. And I was like, I guess this is, how you build consistency. They all kind of emphasize the importance of the same things.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say anything's really too different,
Wow.
We had Coach Venables over there. Now we got Coach House. Maybe that's like the only difference. But the way we work out is the same. The things that's important to the team are the same. The schedule's same. I think just once you get to this point, man, the best all do the same things.
I'm heading to Nashville this weekend for Easter. Hometown Nashville.
Yeah.
Nashville cat right here. Where am I? Where should I go?
Where should you go?
Santa's.
Santa? it really depends what you're trying to get into.
Well, it's just me and my girl. So we're just doing a little Easter weekend getaway. We can have some fun. It's just the two of us, but we're trying to eat good. I'm not trying to fall into any tourist trap. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to end up line dancing at some country western bar.
You go to the Kid Rock bar, dude.
Right. But just from a local, Nashville's a great place. It's grown so much.
Yeah, oh man, blew up.
How different of a city is it from when you were a kid?
It is actually ridiculous.
I
It's
bet.
so different, man.
I
The
bet.
traffic, I try to stay out of inner city Nashville because the traffic's so bad now.
They told me to make sure I stay south of the interstate on Broad, like near Broad.
Oh, yeah.
downtown.
I'm not going to lie. Really, if you're anywhere around there, you're going to hit traffic.
Yeah.
Especially during certain times of day. But if you're trying to have a good time and eat some good food and just have a good time, there's not a little bar, but on Broadway, there's a place called Jason Aladine's. And that's if I ever just want to go chill with my friends.
There you go.
We usually go there. And usually there's a pretty good crowd there,
Nice.
Don't they have the little rooftop up there?
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
That's where we went.
Yeah.
It's a good spot.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. We've talked to you about a lot. Is there any player? Is there any new face? Everybody's talking about Will Campbell, and he's a nasty, mean motherfucker. Is there a new face? Is there somebody that's new for you that's kind of jumped out and said, "Wow, watch out! This cat's he's gonna be something to watch."
So when you say new, does it mean freshman or could it be like a transfer?
Transfer.
Anybody.
Freshman.
Greg Brooks.
Man, we keep hearing his name too.
Yeah, he's jumping out on film every day. I love playing with him.
Really?
And man communicates at such a good level too. It's I don't even have to. I could be looking over here and say something. He gonna hear me.
What are you communicating? What are you looking at? What is everybody? What are your keys?
Yeah, it kind of depends what we're playing. A lot of times, we'll just talk whether we're gonna man a coverage or if we're gonna zone, if we're gonna push it. If I think a running back's gonna flare out to the side, I'll give him a call. It kind of depends on what coverage we're in.
So it's all personnel and formation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Mike,
you are you're great in this atmosphere, man. I've told you multiple times you would be very successful in this industry. I know that the love is football first, but you've got a hell of a career in podcasting and entertainment and media once you make that decision to jump into it. You always got a spot here. Best of luck. Everybody seems healthy, too. during this spring. I
Yeah.
see, I hate to put that out there, but I mean, it just it does seem like this has been a very solid spring from that
Yeah.
standpoint.
We're practicing really smart, and
Yeah.
that's one thing too, man. Like at Clemson, we didn't really tackle a lot, and here I'm like, well, we're practicing the same freaking way. Like I guess everybody does it the same. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
Everybody. I hear about Nick Saban and their practice being super hard. I don't know how much they're tackling, but I know at Clemson, of course we got our live periods, but the way we practice is very similar to how we practice here.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like when you're not trying to kill each other every day,
Sure.
of course that translates to guys being healthier.
Finish spring strong, man. It's great to see you. We will have you
sir.
back soon and have a great fall season as Mike Jones, one of the leaders of LSU football and one of the top defenders. Only a junior, too. I mean, you mentioned you
Oh,
had
we
5
got him for
years.
another year.
I mean,
That's
man,
awesome, dude.
But this is a money year right here. I mean, this is it. This is it, baby.
Facts.
Mike Jones with us here, LSU football spring report there. That was fantastic. We'll be back. Or you know what? We'll close it out. We'll see you
Yep.
tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. And Mic'd Up will be there. Mikey Matuk, 11 o'clock this morning. Make sure you are subscribed, liked, and following. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning. Compliments of Go Chevrolet.